What a good adulterous couple. Su Wangchuan angrily smiled. He had been trapped by the white and black unicorn tiger, and was actually unable to do anything. Su Xing swiped the miraculous Bodhi tree to sweep aside the flying sword attacks of Xie Zhenyuan and Bing Qingxian. The star general that sneak attacked Su Xing all of a sudden hid, completely disappearing. Wuxia also attacked empty space. This actually was shocking. Shi Yuan's wind-chasing shadow hiding also was a type of complete presence concealment magic, but the opponent's similar concealment even hid her murderous intent. She simply was a natural assassin. Su Xing raised his head and saw Bing Qingshuan's forehead glimmer, and his heart was inwardly startled. The Most High Path unexpectedly had another hidden star master. The Most High Path's group of 3 feigned a sneak attack to confuse Wuxia. Bing Qingxian was planning to once again use his Star General assassin to get rid of Star General. With that superb assassination capability of Qingying's, to dispatch a Star Master still was not something easily done. Bing Qingxian only wanted to get rid of this man that was intimate with Wu Sun in order to avenge the animosity originally formed at the birth outline. His way of thinking indeed was flawless. If it was not for Wuxia acting, after being kissed by kiss of death, Su Xing at the minimum would be half dead. Afterwards, that would allow him to grasp everything. Pity that he miscalculated the circumstances. Having just soaked in the perfect harmony spring, Wuxia's psychic connection had burst forth in that moment, staking everything to neutralize the danger. Why not come out for a look? Wuxia saw that the opposing Star General disappeared, coldly laughing. The noble frost demonic lotus sword's wind rippled, forming a powerful filling floor in a range of several dozen meters. At this time, a golden needle mixed with the golden threads covering the sky came to smother Wuxia and Su Xing, and Wuxia turned their heads to look. That petite little girl of Xie Zhenyuan's twirled her hands in a dance, controlling 2 star weapons. They were the heavenly silkworm treasure silk, 2 and backlighting divine needle, 3. Succeed star long-armed ape Ho Jian. Su Xing recognized this treasure and was greatly surprised. The miraculous Bodhi tree swiped out thousands of rays of clear qi to suppress this golden net. Glancing at that delicate and adorable little girl, for a moment, he was somewhat unable to react. Being labeled the Azure Dragon Territory's #1 Star Master, Xie Zhenyuan unexpectedly contracted the ranked 71st Succeed star. This honestly was too odd. Ruolin, quickly go back. I do not need you to act. Xie Zhenyuan shouted in worry. The Succeed star Ho Ruolin still possessed the innocence of childhood, her eyes exceptionally firm. Both hands were butterflies flitting through flowers, waving empty-handed. Yellow rank move. Net of deep passion. 5 dark rank move. Heavenly silkworm golden thread needle. Continuously attacking, they became layers of golden nets that filled the sky. Wuxia creased her brow, apparently somewhat flabbergasted that the Ho Ruolin brimming with a childish nature would act. But how could the harm star sympathize in the slightest whilst in the middle of battle? The noble frost demonic lotus raised black qi and white frost. The golden thread and needle net then shattered, simply incapable of obstructing Wuxia's pace. Quickly come back. Xie Zhenyuan shouted. Chua. Wuxia swept past Ho Ruolin's side, and a streak of blood splashed out from her neck. The noble frost demonic lotus clearly had pierced through Ho Ruolin's body. The small girl's eyes were shocked, and the heavenly silkworm treasure silk and backlighting divine needle's golden lights dimmed, disappearing into thin air as she then entered the star nest. Xie Zhenyuan's head sunk. Attacking like a gale, Wuxia did not hesitate at all to attack to his front. The purple star transforming qi launched 4 purple-colored flying swords towards Bing Qingshuan. Su Xing and the surroundings released purple thunder, staring at that star general hidden in the shadows. Bing Qingxian was nothing to be afraid of, but his star general actually made Su Xing feel as if he was facing a great enemy. Seeing Su Xing's movements were pinned, Wu Song again attacked Xie Zhenyuan. How could Bing Qingxian let this golden opportunity pass him by? Coldly grinning, he did not hesitate at all to raise a magic weapon. This treasure was a battle-axe-looking weapon, an earthly fiend-grade star treasure. Star-hooking battle-axe. 6. The star-hooking battle-axe transformed into a heavenly rainbow, shooting straight for Su Xing's stomach. Su Xing dryly smiled, seizing the miraculous Bodhi tree and swiping several times in succession. The rainbow the star-hooking battleaxe formed had extremely fierce power, nearly running through the entire Tiger Creek mountain. Illuminating the snowy peak, it faintly resembled being covered by the sun, shining brightly onto the snowy peak. In front of this star-hooking battleaxe, Su Xing was just like someone standing beneath a galaxy, stars in every direction. Covering the heavens and earth, there was no way he could evade, no way he could run. Last time, the Bing Qingxian who had unintentionally obtained Elder Immortal Extreme Clarity's astral bag did not inform anyone at all. And the Elder Immortal Extreme Clarity that had been lauded as the Azure Dragon Territory's #1 supercluster cultivator had capital that could be said to be robust. This also allowed Bing Qingxian an enormous harvest. This star-hooking battleaxe was one among them. This type of earthly fiend-grade astral treasure could not necessarily compete in the current star duels, but Bing Qingxian believed handling a star master was not out of the question. Su Xing could tell this treasure was very extraordinary, seeing a brilliance bubble forth from every direction. Starlight dazzled the eyes, the power vast, but he nevertheless did not move in the slightest. He merely faced his palm forwards, his fingers like hooks, slightly curling inwards. Indistinctly, there was a purple cloud of mingling energy circulating without pause, perfectly round and flowing. Chila. 7. A sound like ripping apart a copper brocade. Su Xing used his hand to gesture, and a large hand of purple cloud extended, grabbed and immediately squeezed apart the all-concealing starlight that moved towards Su Xing. The snowy peak was still a snowy peak, as if everything just now was an illusion. At a place several meters in front of Su Xing, there was an axe-like, both blades semicircular, completely gold in color, 3 chi long, oddly made weapon. Bing Qingxian slightly changed. He used both hands to link seals, and the star-hooking battleaxe repeatedly trembled. The purple cloud hand grabbed onto the star-hooking battleaxe, both sides battling. Go! Bing Qingxian all of a sudden threw out a dozen talismans. A shadow rushed towards Su Xing. This shadow was not harmful at all, but it could make Su Xing's field of view entirely covered in darkness. An intense, ice-cold killing intent was suddenly leveled. Bing Qingshuan's star general suddenly leapt up like a vulture preying upon him, her dual blades slashing past Su Xing's head without the slightest hesitation. Blood did not pour out, instead becoming a mirror-like phantom. I was waiting for you. Behind her came a cold laugh. Su Xing used the mirror image talisman to appear behind his opponent, a golden treasure book appearing in his left hand while his right hand's 5 fingers flicked, shooting a purple thunder dragon claw that grabbed the star general too late to protect herself. Purple light flashed past. Su Xing spotted a girl wrapped in black skin-tight clothes, a pair of cold purple pupils, and a biting cold murderous aura. Oomph! The double-edged saber slashed and easily broke the purple thunder dragon claw. Immediately afterwards, there was another flash. She disappeared, then reappeared, clearly appearing like a ghost on the other side of Su Xing. Her weapon was like a swimming fish, like a butterfly flitting through flowers. Meanwhile, with her wrist as the center, a mournful arc of wind appeared, shooting over with a frightening speed. The formless strength became a tangible substance, and Su Xing's figure slightly rocked. Once again, he rapidly leaned forward to skirt by, having flashed past that forceful sword tip, but an even more concentrated thin saber shadow had already covered over, simply silent, a very much hidden attack. Su Xing's figure immediately reversed into a retreat, but the saber tip in front of him followed like a shadow. Those twinkling purple flames throbbed, and unexpectedly accelerated in a split second. The opponent's attacks surprisingly were capable of even this speed. This point completely exceeded Su Xing's expectations. Under an attack like this, Su Xing merely made a thrilling escape. The two retreated and advanced, moving like a storm. In several breaths' time, they unexpectedly retreated halfway down the mountain's cliff face, already unable to retreat farther. Without any hesitation, Su Xing grit his teeth as he rapidly spun his body, suddenly shifting his body horizontally in midair. The saber tip whistled in the air, and there was an ear-splitting crack. It was unknown when Su Xing completely used that superb fighting level of his, but his battle strength roused, instantly already cutting apart all of the attacks of this assassin star general's weapon. But the rapidly appearing and vanishing saber tip was tricky as a viper, seemingly appearing at any arbitrary angle. Lines of blood bloomed, and acute pain attacked his wrists. Not good, she is trying to take the miraculous Bodhi tree. Su Xing immediately sensed what the star general was attempting to do. This made Su Xing startled to the extreme, for he truly did not anticipate a famous star general to be so crafty. The attacks were sinister and could even take things along the way, truly not missing any opportunity. His hand immediately fired a purple lotus flower, and the 12 Langya simultaneously attacked with a clear sound. His wrist had been penetrated to the bone by a cut. Su Xing grit his teeth, yanked it out, and his figure quickly retreated. This assassin star general did not foresee Su Xing would be so firm in extracting the blade. By the time her right hand once again brushed past Su Xing's neck, a cool and elegant figure already did not give her any chances. Wuxia arrived. Why not show yourself? Umph. A cold laugh accompanied the assassin's lightning-like pouncing body. One slash attacking from above, the other from below. Wuxia leaned to dodge the incoming sword tip. Her double-ended sword separately blocked the weapon. The assassin used full power to attack, and in a spurt of energy, the double-edged sabers crossed and stabbed. After Wuxia blocked, she flew backwards like a cat. Her attack skill was brilliant, the speed also absolutely quick, but directly confronting the harm-star Wuxia, she simply was an amateur in front of an expert. Su Xing was secretly excited as he watched the two star generals battle. Each and every one of a few star generals slightly more powerful in martial force were very abnormal. Having just fought a perilous bout with this assassin, under a star general's martial force, cultivators risking their lives to engage at close distance simply were like fish meat on the chopping board just waiting to be slaughtered. Su Xing did not dare be complacent. He attacked Bing Qingxian, purple thunder engulfing the skies. We are not the opponents of this adulterous couple, quickly flee. Su Wangchuan shouted. In spite of the two disciples, he became escape light, fleeing without a trace. Bing Qingxian looked around. Xie Zhenyuan had long disappeared, but he did not know if he was dead or if he had been killed by Wuxia. 8 Qingying leave. Bing Qingxian shouted, the extreme clarity sword array transforming into a green rainbow. When that Qingying heard, the gloom of her whole body condensed. Why does sister not show herself for a look? Wuxia yelled, slashing. Elder sister, Qingying asks that you be careful for your man. Having been looked upon by Qingying, Qingying naturally will not let him eat or sleep in peace. The woman's tone was ice-cold, finally speaking. She already was a dissipating shadow. They could tell from a glance, she clearly entered the star nest. Damn it. Bing Qingxian unsightly cursed, his jade pendant cracking. Suddenly, smoke and clouds dispersed. Humph. Wuxia waved her hand, and upon the snowy peak, they heard a chilly wail, leaving behind a deathly stillness. Su Xing, you truly are too stupid. As a star master, you unexpectedly dared to battle a star general. Even if you having Mei's battle doctrine, a few star generals are still dangerous. You understand. Wuxia saw that Su Xing's body gurgled with blood, and she was somewhat furious. Su Xing laughed, having heard Wuxia's concern. He nodded. That couldn't be helped just now. What do you mean could not be helped? You must have many tricks. Wuxia sneered. Wifey, just look. Su Xing said, his hand then flipping open a book of treasure light. Wuxia was startled, and then she understood Su Xing's behavior just now. As it turned out, he was using the birth treasure outline to grasp the opponent's data. Against that sort of randomly appearing and disappearing assassin-like star general, the oblivious Su Xing indeed would be somewhat anxious. Wuxia's expression eased. The book's pages opened, and golden words came into view. Star position, investigative star 9 star name, Mu Hong 10 nickname, unrestrained 11 true name, Mu Qingying rank, 24th star weapon, flowing frost moon shadow 12, 2 star star beast. Rank, realm, 10,000 techniques 3rd stage innate skill. Perception 13 5 elements. Earth yellow rank special move. Frontline murderous desire. 14 dark rank special move. Death path kiss current status. Contractor/Bing Qingxian Detailed Materials. So she was the investigative star. Wu Xiao's voice sunk. Su Xing drew in a breath. Unexpectedly, she was a heavenly star assassin. Your servant shall go to the most high path to meet her. Recalling the words that Mu Qingying left just now, Wu Xiao sneered. Wifey, it's best to leave it at that. Right now there are other things that need to be done. Su Xing stopped her. What things? Wu Xiao turned her head. Come back with me, let's go to Evil Smiting Hall together. Su Xing smiled. Bing Qingxian returned to the Void Immortal's abode. Without saying a word, he raised a flying sword and flew out of Clarity Mountain. After he left the range of the most high path, Bing Qingxian scanned his all directions, seeing everything clearly. Young master? The investigative star Mu Qingying oddly asked. Bing Qingxian aimed in a direction. Suddenly light flashed in his eyes. Then he patted his astral bag, his hand struck a seal, and a clump of clear qi overflowed from his pores, becoming a fog-like as it surrounded Bing Qingxuan's whole body. Faintly discernible, this was a special escape technique he learned from Elder Immortal Extreme Clarity. Clear sky-high soaring escape. Bing Qingxian activated the escape technique, increasing his speed, his escape light moving rapidly in a ruse. Sensing Bing Qingxuan's intentions, Mu Qingying was silent. Escaping close to 10,000 li in this manner, Bing Qingxian suddenly stopped and gazed at the horizon. A green light twinkled at the same time. Bing Qingxuan's eyes narrowed, and he immediately dispersed the green rainbow. He stepped onto a flying sword and looked all around. In this remote and uninhabited area, he advanced with his fist cupped, shouting, Master Uncle Wangchuan. The green light stopped, scattered, and revealed the newcomer to be none other than the most high path's ancestral master Su Wangchuan. When Su Wangchuan saw Bing Qingxian, his expression immediately eased, not at such a loss as before. He slightly nodded, stroking his beard. As long as you return safely. Ancestral Master Wangchuan. How is senior brother Jinyuan? Qingxian has only just returned to the most high path, and has not seen senior brother yet. Qingxian does not dare discuss with headmaster that he anxiously came to find master uncle. Bing Qingxian apprehensively stepped forward. Su Wangchuan did not mind at all. He should be in the immortal's abode meditating. Your servant feels that Wu Song apparently spared Jinyuan. He can recover with a few days' rest. Recalling that Azure Dragon Territory No. 1 genius Xie Jinyuan, to be so unable to withstand a single blow, Su Wangchuan sighed. Definitely, he had such brilliant talent. As it turned out, not listening to the headmaster's orders and contracting with a trash star general, even needing to protect said star general on the contrary, was euphemistically speaking, truly was ridiculous to the extreme, not knowing the immensity of heaven and earth. The 108 star generals could practically run amok in Liangshan after Evil Smiting Hall. As a single star master, even if he was any more talented, that would not be worth a damn. It was a pity that after contracting the star general, the sect could not easily say anything more. Senior brother, why did you contract the long-armed ape? Qingxian truly does not understand. With senior brother's fame and talent, the Heavenly Star's 5 tigers are not out of the question. If that long-armed ape Ho Jian was swapped for any one of the Heavenly Star's martial generals, Qingxian and senior brother definitely could have done the utmost to eliminate Wu Song and her man. Bing Qingxian had a vexed expression. Wu Song. This is too ironic. For the previous Overlord star name, that cold and elegant woman unexpectedly has a man too. Su Wangchuan recalled that cold and forceful temperament of Wu Xiao's was somewhat worthy of praise. His heart was incomparably envious. We need not discuss further Jinyuan and that Ho Jian. In short, the headmaster's idea is to make your senior brother Jinyuan go attract the attention of the other sections. Qingxian, you will act as backup that catch them off guard. The most high path naturally will support you. Bing Qingxian was grateful, saying with regret. The Harm Stars man has taken Ancestral Master Extreme Clarity's miraculous Bodhi tree, and is now like a tiger that has grown wings. Qingxian basically is not his opponent. Su Wangchuan muttered irresolutely. This indeed is troublesome. but the other sects presumably also have headaches. The things this ancestor said to the Taoist Dragon Spring at the Dragon Spring stream really is not empty chatter. Star Master now inevitably will have powerful magic weapons, and the sect naturally will give you one or two. Many thanks for Ancestral Master's care. Bing Qingxian cupped his fist saying, Qingying, you also come out and thank Ancestral Master. A youthful woman appeared. Seeing the graceful and taut curves of her skin-tight outfit, Su Wangchuan's throat gulped. Mu Qingying bowed, respectfully saluting. Su Wangchuan nodded. Being praised like this by a legendary star general, even a heavenly star, he was somewhat pleased with himself. Right. Qingxian also has an important matter to discuss with Ancestral Master in secret. Bing Qingxian suddenly lowered his voice. What matter is so important? Su Wangchuan stopped his flying sword. Bing Qingxian looked all around whispering. Qingxian has heard that Ancestral Master Wangchuan has a prehistoric spirit treasure known as the Dark Sword. 2. And that there is someone in the sect that has already spied upon Ancestral Master's spirit treasures. Furthermore, they are prepared to strike the Ancestral Master treacherously. Ha 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 ha. And who is this reckless, this ancestor actually wants to see? Su Wangchuan laughed aloud. He suddenly spotted Bing Qingxuan's gloomy and sinister face, and his pupils all of a sudden contracted. Suddenly, a chill twisted over. Su Wangchuan did not react at all. His neck was cold, and his head flew into the sky, blood spraying several zhang like a geyser. Dark rank assassination. Death path kiss. The investigative star Mu Qingying's hand clenched the flowing frost moon shadow double edge, easily plucking Su Wangchuan's head. With this sort of least expected sneak attack in addition to a heavenly star's dark rank battle technique, the supercluster middle stage then died without being aware of anything. Bing Qingxian then easily took Su Wangchuan's astral bag, extremely insidious. Ancestral Master Wangchuan, what use is giving a trash prehistoric spirit treasure to your servant? Rather than giving them to you old but still alive farts, would it not be better to give them to Qingxian to use in the star duels, to make contributions to the sect? Bing Qingxian coldly laughed. Immediately destroying the corpse and its traces, Bing Qingxian took a deep breath. Ancestral Master Wangchuan, Qingxian definitely will make the headmaster kill that cheating couple of Wu Song, and that man to take revenge for the Ancestral Master. You can feel relieved, ha 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 ha. The cold laugh reverberated through the thick underbrush, with an indescribable gloom. Su Xing brought Wuxia back to the immortal's abode. Seeing Wuxia was somewhat meekly following alongside him, the beauties inside the immortal's abode thought their eyes were deceiving them. That harmony between Su Xing and Wuxia truly was very abnormal. Young lord, why did you not say anything if you were going out? You made all the sisters worried to death. When Wu Xinjie saw Su Xing was fine, she sighed in relief. Young master, you found Xiao? Lin Yingmei blinked when she saw Wuxia, her eyes somewhat complex. Wuxia slightly smiled. Your servant already heard Su Xing say that you are preparing to go into the evil smiting hall first. Your servant has come to fulfill her promise, to lend you a helping hand. Wu Xinjie's brow slightly wrinkled, feeling the bodies of Wuxia and Su Xing in front of her were somewhat not right, but even with the knowledge stars seeing clearly, she could not say the reason why. Su Xing, how did you find Sister Xiao? Sure Yuan curiously asked. Su Xing summarized the light-shifting image-switching mirror. Besides a few shameful circumstances that he omitted, he did not hide the Most High Path's 2 star masters. This Most High Path is so devious, to unexpectedly have 2 star masters. And Suan softly exhaled. The Azure Dragon territories won clear. This actually is a matter of course, but Xinjie did not expect that she would be the investigative star unrestrained Mu Hong. Wu Xinjie creased her brow, one hand upon her chin vexed. This merits attention, for the third watch 3 of these sisters is too terrifying. Third watch. Wu Xinjie explained. Assassin-type star generals were fierce not just in name but in reality. They randomly appeared and disappeared. Their methods were terrible, and could even said to lack any mercy, treating whichever sister with extreme disregard. The direct fighting capabilities of an assassin star general were not very formidable, but their sneak attack assassination arts were absolutely perfect. Star General assassins had a frightening chain assassination technique. Known as Third Watch, they used the three types of their heavenly, earthly and dark skills to consecutively attack. If the target was careless, even a few superb and martial 4-star generals would fall dead. Previous generations had victorious star generals of this level of ferocity that had been killed off like this. If star generals were like this, then star masters required even less of a mention. If they did not have a life-saving method or did not have a star general sticking close by for protection, in the case they were sneak attacked by an assassin, then they would necessarily die. The Su Xing that had met twice with Mu Hong's attacks had lingering fears. If it was not for his divine sense being so powerful, he would already have had his head removed. Slave servant hears after the 4th phase passes. Concealment-type star generals are the very first to die. Yan Yizhen calmly said. And this is true. Practically no star general would allow an assassin star general to comprehend the Third Watch. The majority would have been encircled and star-fallen before even having reached their heaven rank move. We had better discuss the matter of evil smiting Hall. Su Xing, you have 6 sisters. It's 7, there's also little sister Lianxin. Shi Yuan giggled. Wuxia nodded, not surprised. 7. In the history of the star duels, this is unprecedented. No wonder Chao Gai would make such a big fuss. How do you plan to arrange this evil smiting hall? Wuxia asked. We had better wait until Chai Ling comes and then plan together. Lin Yingmei twitched her lips. The noble star little whirlwind? Wuxia was stupefied. Young master has promised to go accompany her into evil smiting hall. Lin Yingmei said. Wuxia's expression immediately became considerably odd. She looked at Su Xing, and those eyes seemingly were looking at a monster. As Lin Yingmei said, the day before evil smiting hall was to open, Chai Ling entered Su Xing's immortal's abode along with Jinji and Yuya. The noble star little whirlwind was still that kind of graceful, every one of her movements, every smile and frown brimming with a queen-like aura. When she saw 8 sisters inside Su Xing's abode, Chai Ling's shock was only momentary. Immediately, she used the fan to cover her mouth, as if she was smiling yet not. Nevertheless, Jinji and Yuya's eyeballs nearly popped out of their sockets. Chai Ling, you must have obtained your evil smiting hall on your own. Wu Xinjie asked her. Only naturally. Then we shall arrange the affairs of the evil smiting hall. Because of some reasons, we will need to finish in 1 month. Wu Xinjie seriously said. Is it because of Chao Gai? Chai Ling smiled, charmingly glancing sideways at Su Xing, as if she was saying, your troubles this time certainly are not small. And Wu Xinjie did not explain. With Chai Ling's intelligence covering the Azure Dragon territory, this was no secret at all. Successive generations of noble stars stayed outside the world of the star duels, but in actuality, they cared more about the star duels than anyone. Oftentimes, they grasped more intelligence pertaining to the star duels than anyone else could, but it was not easy to publish. Pondering briefly, Wu Xinjie then spoke about the arrangements for the evil smiting hall. The star duels had 5 phases. The first phase, heavenly and earthly stars, when the 108 star generals descended. The second phase, birth outline, which was the chance for all of the sisters to take the first step to increasing their strength, for whoever took the birth treasure outline could take a dominant position in the star duels. And this third phase, evil smiting hall, was the most critical hoop, the star beast. Each star general had their own star beast. These star beasts assisted star generals and participated in the star duels, thus turning them into genuine star generals. This was not a matter that could be executed sloppily. Sometimes, earthly stars that wanted to make a change for themselves would necessarily have to rely on their star beasts. But opportunity forever coexists with danger. Most of the time, the evil smiting hall also became the location star masters would tussle at because evil smiting hall only allowed star generals and star masters to enter. With this, star masters that ordinarily counted on backup could only count on themselves for life and death. Furthermore, there was a very harsh condition. If a star general was in the situation before time expired, and was without having captured a star beast situation, in the case they entered evil smiting hall, they were incapable of leaving. So at this time, star generals or star masters would become very dangerous. Of course, the most dangerous thing to Su Xing was not this at all, but that he was the one unprecedented in history to have contracted 7 star generals. The Star Duel's third phase, Evil Smiting Hall. All star generals raised an evil smiting writ to enter inside the evil smiting hall. They would search for a star beast and capture it, unable to leave for a certain amount of time. Due to the star beast and star general being one in body, using the evil smiting writ to capture them was not at all as challenging as Liangshan's 7th and 8th rank demon beasts. According to all of the star generals' differences, all star beasts were not completely the same. The rules were this simple. But there was an aspect that was not simple. Star masters that wanted to enter along with their star general had to channel their own star energy together. By doing so, the star master could only enter Evil Smiting Hall with 1 star general. This did not count as anything. Since time immemorial for the star duels, star masters only had 1 star general. Young masters that contracted 2 star generals could only accompany one inside. This was for the sake of fairness in the Evil Smiting Hall. Otherwise, star masters that had contracted 2 star generals could seize the chance to be unbridled in the Evil Smiting Hall. The other star generals and star masters could only but flee without a trace. This was also saying that Su Xing with his 7 beautiful ladies and the little whirlwind, he had become the first star master in Liangshan's history to enter 8 times and exit 8 times. I do not need to squander elder brother's time. The first time the somewhat inharmonious Tang Lianxin opened her mouth made all of the girls knowingly smile. Right, I don't need any star beast. The thief star Shi Yuan agreed. Neither does Suwen need to. And Suwen also said. They were all spirit energy type star generals. Admittedly, while it was true star beasts were important, they nevertheless really could not insist on such a thing, not when Su Xing's time right now was not plentiful. The girls did not want to make Su Xing work excessively hard for their affairs. Su Xing shook his head. Since even Chai Ling is willing to take risks for the sake of a star beast, don't you speak any further like this. Yes, little sisters. If you decline a star beast, we elder sisters will not want them either. Wu Xinjie charmingly blinked. The first-rate heavenly star generals skillful star Little E, majestic star Lin Yingmei, and leisure star Gongsun Huang expressed each of their feelings. But if it's this way, Su Xing will have to come and go from the Evil Smiting Hall 8 times. Shi Yuan wrinkled her brow, somewhat worried. Since you are willing to believe in me, it's only 8 times. Even if it was 18 times, I would go do it. Su Xing's expression was tender, making them feel at ease. And Maiden Mountain is overbearing, and the little sister certainly cannot shrink back. Wu Xinjie cautiously warned. The 3 girls Shi Yuan, and Suwen and Tang Lianxin were silent. An earthly star beast is not difficult, even for this palace. You are finished planning? The corner of little whirlwind Chai Ling's mouth wryly smiled. Were it not for the noble star having seen gales and billows, handling matters without alarm, other people seeing a star master help 7 star generals capture star beasts really would have shocked them to death. Since I promised you, I will help you achieve it. Su Xing was calm. This is perfect. Then which one of you shall enter first? The Wuxia who had been continuously leaned against a pillar to the side and silent flatly spoke. This has already been planned. Wu Xinjie looked around at the sisters. We shall use ranking this time, from lowest to highest. The degree of difficulty for star beasts is also like this. This way can also greatly save time. Everyone did not object. Little whirlwind Chai Ling, there is no problem for you to act as the final one? Wu Xinjie asked. Oh, this palace does not have issue. Anyways, if your man does not help you finish capturing your star beasts, he probably will be inattentive with this palace's affairs as well. Chai Ling thoughtfully smiled. I'm also very professional and virtuous, okay? Su Xing shrugged his shoulders. Chai Ling lightly snorted, as if she was laughing yet not. Wu Xinjie turned her head to look at Wu Xio. At that time for Chai Ling's star beast, we will have to trouble you, Xio. And Wu Xio nodded. Everything was decided like this. That same evening, with the bright moon over the sky. At a place on one of Fire Eastern Island's spirit peaks, a youth sat at the summit's platform, bathing in the moonlight, emitting and absorbing the starlight. 12 holy jadeite flying swords flew round his body, their blue light clear, their clear chi dense. The clear light had the efficacy to fix attention, making the lonesome spirit peak and the ice-cold moonlight brim with vitality. In front of the youth, there was a remarkably beautiful fairy sitting cross-legged. This woman's countenance was untainted by dust, her yellow robes fluttering with an earthly spirit yellow chi revolving around her body, but completely lacking expression. She was missing human emotion and had a hardness. The yellow light flashed, shrouding her and the man within. The green and yellow luster then intertwined. They mixed into one whole, growing and multiplying without end, as if it was evolving prehistoric life force. The spirit bamboo and leaves around the man's whole body completely fell, and the woman's chi seemed to surge, winding around the bamboo and ringing. This man was precisely Su Xing, and the beauty sitting in front of him was the true spirit the Earth Book created, Empress Tuesday. The auras of the two mixed. At this time Su Xing was currently injecting his own divine intent into Empress Tu's, cultivating that most profound mystery of Liangshan, external incarnation arts. By doing so, Empress Tu could exist as Su Xing's doppelganger, able to travel Liangshan unrestricted. This way, if he were to encounter trouble in the future, collecting materials for star weapon upgrades also could be twice the work with half the effort. However, to make Empress Tu mix and become a genuine true spirit incarnation was extremely difficult. Just the most basic divine intent mixing was a vast undertaking, requiring things be taken step by step, with absolutely no rushing. A long time afterwards, Empress Tu opened her eyes, a streak of light flitting across them. That girl has always, immediately afterwards, the body turned to dust, vanishing into thin air. Su Xing took a deep breath, putting away the Earth Book. He rose and walked several steps. Su Xing caught sight of a girl standing on a cliff ahead, facing the wind. Her clothes floated and stuck against her gentle and beautiful body. Underneath the moonlight, those icy eyes seemed even more clear than snow, more splendid than frost. The misty running water's radiance made her appear arrogant, exceedingly. Lin Yingmei. Su Xing could not help but smile. Cultivating external incarnation required absolute silence. Divine intent could not be disturbed, and Lin Yingmei continuously quietly stood guard nearby, quiet as if she could freeze the air. Yingmei. Lin Yingmei snapped out of her train of thought. Young master. Never thought it's already been this long? Su Xing walked to her side, gazing at the bright moonlight sighing. That time, young master truly was completely ignorant of the star duels. Lin Yingmei lightly smiled. Recalling when they originally signed their contract, the two discussed the star duels at a nighttime bonfire just like this. At that time, Su Xing unexpectedly did not know about even star masters and such. At that time, Lin Yingmei only felt the man before her eyes truly was honestly very unreliable, but still she unswervingly protected him. Now a year had passed in the blink of an eye. Su Xing not only was very reliable, he was also very excessive. Those at his side also went from she alone to 6 sisters serving him, even having relations with thousand-year star generals the likes of Wuxia and Chai Ling. She was silent for a moment, and then she spoke. Young master, your servant wishes to go alone to capture her star beast. Could it be I look so useless? Su Xing feigned a hurt expression. Lin Yingmei gently shook her head. No, what Lianxin said was very true. As the majestic star, your servant ought not trouble young master. For this sort of matter, even your servant alone can achieve it. There are still many sisters that have not signed a contract. If they can do so, then Yingmei can do so too. Su Xing was not one bit surprised Lin Yingmei would say this. His face wore a light smile as he walked over, putting a hand on the girl's shoulder, seemingly delicate yet more heavy than Mount Tai. The majestic star was stunned as she looked at Su Xing's hand, her face slightly red. Yingmei, do you want to give up on your star beast? Su Xing looked straight at the girl. Even the majestic star, who was wholly courageous, somewhat guiltily looked away, not replying. Star generals that have signed a contract are required to enter together with a star cultivator. If I don't go, you basically can't go. Wu Xinji already informed me about Evil Smiting Hall's rules. Are you afraid that I can't capture your star beast? Su Xing smiled and asked. A negative answer. Then, you fear that becoming a complete star general will bring me trouble? Su Xing asked again. This time Lin Mei was silent. Chao Gai said that for complete star generals, that Maiden Mountain will make movements against Young Master. Your servant is Young Master's first star general. If your servant renounces her star beast, it cannot be said for certain that. Mei, I want to ask you a question. Su Xing suddenly interrupted her. Lin Mei blinked. Do you regret contracting with me for the star duels? Su Xing gazed at Lin Mei very earnestly. Acting as the first girl to contract with him for the star duels and change their destinies, their original contract was clearly a freak accident, a curious coincidence. To be frank, the troubles I provoke seem to be big. Even Mei wants to give up on star beasts. Su Xing bitterly smiled. Your servant ought not make Young Master worried by saying words of giving up. Lin Mei bit her lip. Your Young Master is not blaming you, but I truly want to ask you. If I met you before we hadn't signed a contract, would you have been willing to be together with me? Su Xing embraced Lin Mei, seriously asking. Lin Mei froze for a moment. She opened her mouth, yet no words came out. Seems your servant has not tried hard enough to making Mei give all her heart, cough cough. I need to put in more effort for this. Su Xing awkwardly laughed. The corner of Lin Mei's mouth slightly rose, showing a noble and pure smile. In that instant, Su Xing only felt the entire world go quiet, all living things lose color. The girl closed her eyes, stepped on tiptoe and wrapped her arms around Su Xing's neck. For the first time, she initiated a kiss on Su Xing. Su Xing held her, touching their inseparable love as much as they wanted. This was the majestic star's answer. 3 Clarities Field. Main Hall. At this time, the atmosphere was a deathly stillness, the air silently making people suffocate. An elderly man sat in the position of head, quivering, but his eyes showed a fierce heat. He was the current headmaster of the Clear Void Most High Path, True Lord Dao Tian. That purple thunder monster was unbridled with Lin Chong, and now with this Wu Song he places no one in his eyes. Bullying this sect, this hatred must be avenged. We cannot forgive him. An old woman and a 40 to 50-year-old large man furiously said as they sat. Below the hall were 2 youths, Xie Zhenyuan and Bing Qingxian. Ever since Bing Qingxian brought back the news of Su Wangchuan's death, the entire Most High Path was shaken. The causes of death of 2 supercluster ancestral masters and a supervoid cultivator were mostly linked to Wu Song. This hatred could topple mountains and overturn seas, but ever since 5 Poisons Mountain, in addition to the appearance of Chao Gai, not a single star cultivator was willing now to go handle the purple thunder monster, or the harm star. Wu Song now has a star master. The current star duel's variables are too great. Senior brother headmaster, it would be best to ask Ancestral Master 3 Clarities for assistance. Otherwise, the Most High Path is about to be destroyed at the hands of these fiend stars. The old woman shouted. Poor Taoist 2 knows. True Lord Dao Tian dignifiedly nodded his head. Afterwards he ordered. Open the sect's magic circle, quietly await for the Ancestral Master to leave seclusion. Qingxian Zhenyuan, tomorrow is Evil Smiting Hall. Poor Taoist will grant you protective spirit treasures. Remember at all costs to be extremely careful. True Lord Dao Tian instructed. Junior brother, junior sister, you are to protect them for the time being. We defer to senior brother's command. Next time we see Wu Song, we must kill her. This old woman's yellow sword just happens to use a star general's blood in order to be raised. The old woman sinisterly said. Hearing of the yellow sword, a gloom flashed past Bing Qingshuan's eyes that no one sensed. The second day, Su Xing and the group gathered all together outside the immortal's abode. At nearly the same time, all of the star generals' foreheads twinkled with light automatically. At that instant, each of the star maidens knew that Evil Smiting Hall had formally opened. Have you finished preparations? Knowledge Star Wu Xinjie asked everyone. Everyone solemnly nodded their heads. The 107th ranked Shi Yuan took the lead to walk out. She flipped her hand, and a token appeared. She walked to Su Xing's front, the two of them fixing their eyes on one another. Then they each took in a breath, proceeding to connect their minds, injecting star energy into the evil smiting token. The star crests of the two simultaneously entered the evil smiting token, and then they saw a blackness in front of them. The scenery changed. They saw the surroundings were a boundless deep mountain, both sides filled with sheer cliffs and precipitous cliff faces. The mountains were covered in clouds and rain, drizzling down. Old pines grew all around, their iron trunks clear and crystalline. Far into the distance, the mountains were continuous and unending, exceptionally green. Su Xing stood atop his riding sword to look around. At even farther places he could even see blue oceans, even deserts, the Gobi, scorched earth, and every sort of scene actually appeared. Looking at those surroundings, there was no visible limit in the tens of thousands of li. This was Evil Smiting Hall. This is Evil Smiting Hall? Su Xing exclaimed. Although he already knew that though Evil Smiting Hall had hall in its name, it actually was a void star world. Inside, there were tens of thousands of large mountains, great rains, and weather marvels too numerous to count. Furthermore, the star beasts particular to star generals also dwelled in every place in the environment. However, the range really was extensive. To go find a star general's star beast alone was basically impossible. Fortunately, the star beasts particular to a star general could be sensed, otherwise, let alone taking 4 to 5 days to capture, they would not necessarily find it in 4 to 5 years. Shi Yuan intimately pulled up against Su Xing's arm, extremely content, nearly forgetting the objective of coming to Evil Smiting Hall. Seeing Shi Yuan like this, Su Xing stroked her head. Shi Yuan very pleasurably hummed, looking exactly like a cat. Su Xing was speechless. Once we got into Evil Smiting Hall, you're different. This is the first time this young lady is together with you, Su Xing. Shi Yuan giggled. The first time. Su Xing suddenly understood. Ever since the two signed a contract, this indeed was the first time they were alone together. Although they once did so at the Blooming Water Sword sect, at that time, they were cautious, entering the tiger's den. How was it the same as the current enchanting scenery? This extremely fine landscape of a lover's rendezvous. I've actually somewhat wronged you all. Su Xing was disappointed and frustrated. Recalling yesterday night with Yingmei, he sighed regretfully. Although Su Xing really wanted to be romantic and loving, how could he when the star duels would not even invite people for a meal? 2. They could not make song and dance, could not paint or embroider, could not be that sort of elegant and refined, that kind of calm and refinement, that type of kind-heartedness and gentleness, especially when Maiden Mountain was already bearing its fangs, was bound to lead to a battle. They already could not be careless. We're not wronged. Shi Yuan shook her head. It was not as if she did not understand the plan. The hearts and minds of Maiden Mountain's 108 sisters were linked. An increase in the number of sisters would lead only to an increase in joy. Su Xing, if you're the final victor, what will you wish for? The thief star blinked her eyes, very expectant. To destroy the star duels. Su Xing said instantly. I just knew Su Xing would think as much, he. Shi Yuan smiled. Turning things around for the past 8 generations of star duels, what have those victors wished for? Su Xing recalled. He seemingly had never heard of anything about the whereabouts of the 8 generations of star duels victors, not even any materials on them. You'll probably have to ask elder sister Xinjia, or that Chai Ling about this. Shi Yuan shook her head. Su Xing muttered. They were intimate for a moment, even flirting with honeyed words. Shi Yuan really had a sort of impulse to continue this. Despite her satisfaction, despite her happiness, the thief star flea on a drum did not forget the goal of this trip to Evil Smiting Hall. To be able to be sweet and intimate this one time was enough. With regards to the vast majority of participating star generals, they would hesitate only when dead or dying. Who would be like Su Xing, treating star masters as nothing, targeting Maiden Mountain directly? Yuaner, where do we go to find your star beast? Su Xing asked. Let this young lady see. Shi Yuan looked around her surroundings for a moment. The thief star changed her previous romanticness. returning to a serious manner. Suddenly, her forehead star crest lightly twinkled. Su Xing, let's go capture the Three Burrows Crafty Rabbit. Three Burrows Crafty Rabbit? When Su Xing heard this name, he broke into laughter. What sort of weird name was this? And this young lady's star beast? Shi Yuan giggled. A star general's star beast was not at all fixed. Some were weak, some were strong, some fierce and others docile. Some could be easily captured, and others would need a bitter battle, and the star general could even be killed on the contrary. However, Evil Smiting Hall was extremely large, and star beasts all had to be encountered, and could not be requested. They could only depend on luck. Encountering an easily captured one meant they had good luck. If they encountered a thorny one, besides finding one anew, they could only engage in a life and death struggle. They might as well have taken the 3 months' time of Evil Smiting Hall, which was more than sufficient to let star generals to go find one. Thus, after Evil Smiting Hall, nearly all star generals would have a star beast. Shi Yuan's Three Burrows Crafty Rabbit was classified as the meek type. From its name, the characteristics of this beast could be seen. It was like the thief star, a star beast that possessed superb concealment arts. How do we find it? Su Xing asked. This young lady's way, Su Xing, you better watch, don't let it run off. Shi Yuan patted her chest, jumped off the flying sword and used wind-chasing shadow hiding. Her figure became an indistinct darkness that scattered, and all traces of her disappeared. Su Xing on the flying sword only saw a shadow quickly flit by in midair. With Su Xing's superb seeing clearly, he was unable to see the slightest gap. He knew this was her excellent concealment star magic, not an ordinary hiding magic. It was a pity that Shi Yuan could not exert killing intent when in wind-chasing shadow hiding, otherwise she actually could be even with investigative star Mu Hong. Su Xing put away his thoughts and concentrated on staring at Shi Yuan's each and every moment. Because star generals and star beasts had a psychic reaction, he could not interfere at all. He could only help a bit when the time came to capture the star beast. Evil Smiting Hall lacked time, lacked the feeling of time, and ages afterwards. Shi Yuan finally stopped, beckoned with her hand, and Su Xing flew before her. He saw a cave covered with spirit grass. The Three Burrows Crafty Rabbit's den? Su Xing looked at this nondescript rabbit hole. He honestly was unable to connect a rabbit and a star beast. Yes. Shi Yuan nodded her head, expressionlessly confirming his guess. The Three Burrows Crafty Rabbit has 3 dens. To capture this young lady's star beast is very simple. We just need to destroy these 3 burrows, and it will obediently go with this young lady. Shi Yuan laughed into her sleeve. Su Xing laughed. This truly was much simpler than he imagined. From her astral bag, Shi Yuan felt out a box. The instant she opened it, a confusing smell wafted out. Inside were several particular beast-feeding pills. She used these to attract the Three Burrows Crafty Rabbit, otherwise the rabbit would not come out, and destroying the star beast's burrows would be unachievable. Then, Shi Yuan drew a magic circle the thief star specially used around the beast-feeding pills. Su Xing carefully covered his figure. He entered oneness of heaven and man state and sized it up from nearby. His face moved, and Su Xing's divine sense perceived there was a small object that dug out of the rabbit hole. This made Shi Yuan delighted, and suddenly, her whole body's presence thoroughly hid. Her eyes stared without blinking at the place the beast-feeding pills were at. That small beast dug at the rabbit hole for a long time, then extended out its head. A sneaky hair appeared. This rabbit was wholly snow white, a pair of jadeite eyes spinning round and round incessantly, even looking left and right from time to time, a timid to the extreme appearance. If it was not for this white rabbit's head having another thin eye, seemingly a third eye, Su Xing honestly would have thought it was unmistakably a normal rabbit. The star beast was psychic, that appeared unmistakable. The Three Burrows Crafty Rabbit twitched its nose, still sniffing in the direction of the beast-feeding pills. The human-like completely engrossed expression that appeared on its face from time to time made Su Xing not know whether to laugh or cry. That Three Burrows Crafty Rabbit climbed out from the hole. Standing outside the magic circle and sniffing for a moment, its jadeite eyes spun several circles in the surroundings of those beast-feeding pills. Nevertheless, it was very cautious. as expected of the star beast worthy of being called the thief stars. Shi Yuan stuck out her tongue. The three burrows crafty rabbit somewhat unsatisfactorily sniffed from where it was, and it seemed to be planning something sinister. The materials inside the beast feeding pill were personally mixed by the thief star herself. This completely was done according to the three burrows crafty rabbit, so she did not fear it would be unmoved. Seeing that three burrows crafty rabbit so sensitive, Shi Yuan was increasingly cautious, her expression glimpsing nervousness. After all, the three burrows crafty rabbit was the most adept at fleeing and hiding arts. They only need not be careful, and they could possibly waste all of their effort. Furthermore, they basically had no hope of drawing it out of the rabbit hole the second time. After the three burrows crafty rabbit circled around the array, its two long ears swayed endlessly, as if it sensed abnormalities in the nearby spirit chi. Slowly without walking into the array, Su Xing and Shi Yuan both stayed calm, not even breathing, their whole bodies completely blending into one with their surroundings. The three burrows crafty rabbit then ran back inside its rabbit hole. Then it climbed out again a moment later, going back and forth several times like this. Seeing that the beast feeding pill was still there, the three burrows crafty rabbit in the end only had a bit of intelligence. It could not bear the lure, and its figure flashed. Unexpectedly, after several vertical hops, it disappeared into the nearby underbrush. Su Xing froze, somewhat not returning to his senses. Just during the time Su Xing was staring blankly, on the other side of the underbrush, a white figure flashed. That white rabbit unexpectedly had a speed that brought after images. Instantly, it flew from the grass right in front of the beast feeding pills. The moment it lowered its head and stuffed the beast feeding pill into its mouth, it wanted to run. Shi Yuan had already prepared for this. She was but the thief star, and how could she allow it to use this small trick? Striking a hand seal, the surroundings suddenly raised a square yellow barrier, firmly sealing this place off. The three burrows crafty rabbit screeched. Shi Yuan did not hesitate at all to launch a star crest. At the same time, Su Xing moved his flying sword to break the three burrows crafty rabbit's den. The three burrows crafty rabbit's figure flashed, and its whole body's snow-white fur became pitch black. Su Xing, it's about to flee. Shi Yuan shouted, throwing out a golden net that was in her hands. The three burrows crafty rabbit transformed into a shadow, immediately breaking through the magic circle. Then, it moved about at high speed along the ground, the speed unexpectedly swift to beyond reasonable limits. Don't let it back inside the burrow, Shi Yuan yelled. Su Xing already knew about the next matter. Immediately afterwards, he urged the flying swords to go forth. However, they were not for the three burrows crafty rabbit. Rather, he extended his divine sense and searched the entire area. He searched for the three burrows crafty rabbit's dens. Only by destroying its burrows would it be possible for it to follow Shi Yuan. Otherwise, everything was for naught. Found it. Su Xing very quickly spotted one hole, delight upon his face. But that three burrows crafty rabbit's speed unexpectedly was incredibly fast. The afterimages dazzled, the real and fakes indistinguishable. Seeing that it was about to enter the hole, the flying swords were too late. Su Xing grit his teeth, stabbing one sword into his heart. With such a heavy injury, he used the chaotic tail escape to finally rush right in front of the entrance to the three burrows crafty rabbit's den, slashing apart the entrance. The three burrows crafty rabbit's figure twisted in midair from fright when it saw Su Xing, unexpectedly drawing an arc as it shot towards another direction. When Su Xing saw this, he pursued with the chaotic tail escape. This time was very easy. The three burrows crafty rabbit's shadow flickered, its presence practically absent. If it was not for the three burrows crafty rabbit having an aura footprint similar to the thief stars, Su Xing honestly could not sense it. Worthy of being called the thief star beast, it was incredible as expected. Su Xing endured the sharp pain, not stopping his pursuit. The chaotic tail escape could be said to be an abnormal escape technique, especially its speed that left the giant rock spreads its wings and flies feeling inferior. But every time he used this chaotic escape technique, his body would sustain grave injuries. First of all, it had its weaknesses, otherwise this chaotic tail escape truly would be the pinnacle cultivation method of Liangshan. And neither did he know what sort of character that Taoist Master Toad was. How could he have created such a cultivation method that angered men and gods alike? Chasing for a moment, the Three Burrows crafty rabbit abruptly turned, its shadow indistinctly flashing. In front appeared an enormous lake. This lake's light was clear as a mirror's, azure and quiet, stretching as far as the eye could see. Although it could be said that only because the lake did not have a sea breeze's salty taste, it was nevertheless irregular. Fuck, it can't be. Su Xing felt things were far from reassuring when he saw this. The chaotic tail escaped flying out, and about to nab the Three Burrows crafty rabbit. The Three Burrows crafty rabbit distorted, breaking free of his hand. With a putong sound, it unexpectedly jumped into the lake. Su Xing did not hesitate at all to dive into the lake, but the Three Burrows crafty rabbit had shockingly disappeared without a trace. Su Xing searched for a long time, and did not find the den the Three Burrows crafty rabbit was hiding in, so inwardly annoyed that he forgot about his injuries. Climbing onto the bank, he sat atop a stone slab. Su Xing panted and shook his head. His whole body, because the chaotic tail escape hurt terribly, was covered in blood, and he had to even ingest several pills. Fortunately, he did not fully use the chaotic tail escape, otherwise his body would be unable to endure. It seemed this chaotic tail escape could not be used often. Sitting atop the shore, Su Xing on one hand pondered a solution to the Three Burrows crafty rabbit. This rabbit now was borrowing the waterways to conceal itself. If he actually had to search for it in a perhaps ocean-like lake, that would truly be finding a needle in a haystack. It seemed he had to use other methods, and he wondered if Shi Yuan did not notice. A moment later, Su Xing then saw Shi Yuan very urgently rush over. Su Xing stood up, was just about to speak about the matter of the Three Burrows crafty rabbit. How could he have anticipated that the thief star's eyes would be moist? Without saying a word, she threw herself into Su Xing's chest, just like a scene of meeting again after a life-and-death journey. Su Xing was frozen. How could the just still perfectly alright Shi Yuan be this emotional? Su Xing, what did you do? Shi Yuan bit her lip, indignantly saying, "What did I do?" Su Xing was at a loss. Seeing Shi Yuan's eyes unexpectedly had tears, he was instantly furious. "Yuaner, who bullied you?" "It's you." Shi Yuan puffed up her cheeks and snorted. "Me." Su Xing still did not understand. Shi Yuan again anxiously looked at the injuries all over Su Xing's body. Seeing that leftover faint scar on his chest, she truly was angered to madness. "Su Xing, who let you use that escape technique? How can this young lady explain this to the sisters?" So it was concern. Su Xing's heart warmed and he stroked her head. "It's okay, little sister Suan these days has been helping me with massages. My body's very robust. Don't use it like this. There's still the other elder sisters after this. I don't want this." Shi Yuan had a very serious expression. Su Xing using the chaotic tail escape just now practically cut apart her heart, and she forgot all about the star beasts. Su Xing knew that she was concerned for him, however. With evil smiting Hall so large, there was no danger. That moment just now truly was too urgent that Su Xing used the chaotic tail escape. He also knew that this escape technique could not be so rashly used. He nodded. "I promise you." Shi Yuan this time beamed in happiness and wiped the corner of her eyes. "You can't actually be crying?" Su Xing froze. "Why can't I cry?" Shi Yuan stared, saying. "Just by seeing your whole body covered in blood, I just can't bear it. So loathsome. You don't care about this young lady at all." Su Xing's heart bubbled with a warm feeling. "That star beast escaped. What do we do?" Su Xing steered things back on track. "Oh, the star beast." Shi Yuan then remembered. She shook her, indifferently saying, "With a lake this big, it seems we won't find it. We'd better find others. If we can't find anything in a few hours, we might as well go back." Su Xing wanted to say something when Thief Star Shi Yuan giggled. "Su Xing, you go wash your body clean first. This young lady will go look in the surroundings. The Three Burrows crafty rabbit's final den should be around here." Su Xing was also uncomfortable seeing his whole body covered in blood and nodded. Seeing the lake water in front of him so limpid, Su Xing undressed. To speak of it, it had been a long time since he had enjoyed something like this. Just as he was savoring this, he suddenly heard rustling sounds behind a rock. Su Xing listened. How could he not know what Shi Yuan was doing? Yuaner. What do you call this young lady for? A shy voice came from the side. Su Xing glanced out the corner of his eye, and he nearly leaked blood. He saw Shi Yuan was already stark naked, having taken off her skin-tight jumpsuit. The girl's figure was good. What should have curved out did, and what should have curved in also did. Her skin was glossy, and having only just seen Wuxia's body not long before, Su Xing thought he was experiencing déjà vu. Then he had an epiphany. Su Xing, Shi Yuan softly called. Su Xing returned to his senses. The girl unexpectedly already walked right to his front, wearing not a single thread, every minute detail visible. A youthful smell attacked him in the face. A burst of blood and chi straight to his dantian, surging straight to his forehead. Really you? What would you do if other people saw you? Su Xing raised his head, glancing up from the girl's valley. Seeing Su Xing's somewhat bashful appearance, Shi Yuan's shyness greatly eased. She crouched, the charming and gentle scene finally considered to have eased by a lot. However, with a man and woman together, each not wearing anything, in a married couple's bath together, any way it was seen, this was romantic. This young lady would never let anyone else look. Shi Yuan began to wipe clean her body right in front of Su Xing, her cheeks blushing, her head shyly lowered. Her movements were very charming. Only by exercising the absolute sincerity soul technique did Su Xing ease somewhat. Su Xing, I'll help wash you. Shi Yuan swam over, bashfully speaking. Nevertheless, her movements easily pounced into Su Xing's embrace. That girl's particular softness made Su Xing unable to hold back. Now is not the time to make trouble. Su Xing said. Let this young lady help you. Ordinarily, elder sister Xinjie monopolizes you. And this young lady hasn't any chances. Shi Yuan was very wronged. Su Xing was very speechless. He should long have known in front of him was a little floozy. Su Xing, help me, Shi Yuan whispered into his ear. Her hands began to wander over Su Xing's body, the man and woman trusting each other fully. For Su Xing to still be able to remain unmoved, he either was truly a sage or a eunuch. Her nephrite warmth and fragrance was upon his chest, and the two immediately were indistinct, afterwards fiercely kissing. Their tongues wound around each other like snakes, moving back and forth, exchanging saliva. Although he was passionate, Su Xing's divine sense nevertheless did not relax one bit, expanding both left and right. He was certainly not one to allow Yuaner's beautiful body be seen by other people. Shi Yuan very quickly began panting. Her body restlessly writhed, especially those legs with the valley with a saturating fragrance. Even in the water, he could feel a sort of particular moistness, stimulating Su Xing that his lower body became iron. Both his hands grabbed Shi Yuan's cute butt and kneaded it. Shi Yuan could endure no longer, her eyes vaguely teary. She completely forgot about evil smiting hall and star beasts. This sort of satisfaction of being with Su Xing together for the first time became a surging high. Su Xing, you want me? Shi Yuan's tone was intimate. Su Xing still retained his final shred of reason. This bottom line could not break in any way. Exchanging momentary passion for an injury, it was Su Xing who was incapable of accepting this, and it was he who was with an outstanding final bottom line. Wait until after we finish with you, Star Beast, okay? I really can't bear it. Shi Yuan bit her lip, completely seductive. Her slender legs straddled Su Xing's waist. She wanted to make herself enter this damned Maiden Mountain. Why did star generals have to pay such a great price for losing their virginity? Cursing in his heart the person who set this rule, Su Xing helplessly held up Shi Yuan's butt with both hands, not letting her run amok. Su Xing, you're down there is obviously so naughty. Shi Yuan stroked it with one hand. Su Xing quivered, truly wishing he could behave worse than a beast for once. Yuan or Maiden Mountain is still monitoring us. Wouldn't you losing your virginity right now make Maiden Mountain provoked? Su Xing kissed her. Shi Yuan also greatly sobered up. Involving that damned Maiden Mountain, the thief star was extremely indignant. For the first time, she even hated the place that gave birth to them. Shi Yuan also knew that losing her virginity now would someday become Su Xing's burden. Regardless of how it was put, losing her virginity needed to come after she became a genuine star general. Annoying, I even wanted to get a step ahead of Xinjia. Shi Yuan grumbled. What do you take your young master to be? Su Xing touched her, making Shi Yuan cry out in surprise. Her face reddened in sweat. She pounded him in the stomach, pretending to be angry. Su Xing, you're so bad. With a soft beauty on his chest, Su Xing also could not bear it. Feeling that the water temperature between her legs was increasingly fiery, Shi Yuan drew near his ear, enticingly saying, Su Xing, I followed elder sister Xinjia and learned the fine lady's essence gathering. I've never had the chance to try it. How about I help you? Su Xing did not say a word of objection. Shi Yuan giggled. Suddenly, she held her breath and dove into the water. Afterwards, Su Xing felt his lower body's heat immediately enter an ice-cold orifice. Truly that was incredible. The water current rubbed by, bringing a shivering pleasure. Shi Yuan's figure in the water was somewhat indistinct, but she vaguely began to get noisier. A moment later, Shi Yuan burst out of the water's surface and took in a deep breath. The corner of her mouth still had a thread of milky white. Lapping it up, she completely showed charm. So much. You really made me nearly die. Su Xing sighed. Shi Yuan giggled, swam over, and the two once again embraced each other. She rested her head on Su Xing's shoulder, very quiet and very pleasured. This moment, there was nothing artificial, nothing ambiguous, nothing erotic. There was only a lake-like tranquility. All right, we should get out. We can't delay. Better first help you find the star beast. We can't have come in vain. Su Xing patted her. Shi Yuan actually was very satisfied. Just at this moment, in an instant, the tranquil lake water suddenly bubbled. They saw something swim towards them, and the lake water was opened by a white wave several dozen meters high. When Su Xing saw this, he immediately hugged Shi Yuan to his chest, opening one hand in preparation to handle this thing. The white wave collapsed and parted. They saw a moving body flip out of the waters, as if she was a leaping dolphin. Her golden hair was like sea waves, bound with a sea blue ribbon. Her skin was white as snow, moist as jade. What made Su Xing and Shi Yuan flabbergasted was that girl's attire. It was a set that was very much like what Su Xing was familiar when he was on Earth, a bikini. She had a blue muslin damask, a seaside color inlaid with white, which hung with dull golden jewelry. That skin that exceeded snow was under the double contrast of lake water and sunlight. Like a fully occupied jade in the world, her beauty made people stifled. This scene really was incomparable. Even if she possessed a gorgeous beauty, the Su Xing that had seen every sort of erotic scene was also blank. His nose very customarily grew hot. The white wave split apart and the girl somersaulted. She stepped upon the lake water, her sea blue eyes completely limpid, as if they were the ocean reflected underneath the moonlight. A beauty and serenity encompassing everything. She stared at the naked man and woman in front of her. Without any apprehension at all, she waved, her face wearing a slight smile. Hi. Su Xing and Shi Yuan were dumb as wooden chickens. Have you finished your affair? The girl smiled and squinted, her eyes spinning about, a ridiculing and teasing expression. Fuck, where did this one pop out of? Su Xing and Shi Yuan quickly separated. When they hopped onto the rocks, they already finished wearing their clothes. Who are you? Shi Yuan was red in the face, crimson in the ears as she pointed at her. You're a star maiden? Su Xing felt he had asked a very stupid question. Besides star generals, Evil Smiting Hall would have only star masters, and the girl before them was standing on water. Clearly, this was a star general's ability. I'm called Yuchi. The girl made a V sign with her hand, greeting them with a smile. Afterwards, she nonchalantly said, Yuchi watched you two for a very long time. Was that an underwater blowjob just now? That's very difficult. Shi Yuan even had the mind to die. She stared at this young girl wearing revealing clothing, gnashing her teeth. Shameless, unexpectedly peeping on me. Su Xing was speechless. As it turned out, when he extended his divine intent into the surroundings, He had forgotten to put it on the water. However, what the girl in front of him wore was high indeed. Her skin surpassed snow, appearing very fragile. That fluffy golden hair flowed as two golden rivers. Her hair was a water-moistened gold color, truly a dazzling beauty. You watched for so long. What were you thinking of doing? Seeing the girl did not have any hostility, Su Xing organized his thoughts and asked. Yuqi did not misjudge you too. To be able to make a sister do a blowjob in the water for that long. Even if little sister had devoted herself, she could decline. And this still actually the first time Yuqi has seen a man like you. Yuqi showed a pure white smile. A tender and magnanimous smile. As it happened, the words she said made Su Xing and Shi Yuan somewhat ashamed to show their faces. Su Xing's cheeks were very thick and he was somewhat ashamed. Can Yuqi request that you help for something? Yuqi felt that what she wore was apparently a bit revealing. She extended a hand and beckoned. The lake water bubbled forth and rolled around her body, transforming into a light blue long skirt. That beautiful skin was covered, as if the world dimmed a bit, making Su Xing feel that it was a pity. Who wants to help you? Shi Yuan twitched her lips, disdainful. Yuqi was all smiles as she looked at Su Xing, knowing he was a person who made up his mind. Yuqi can also help you too. Su Xing, don't mind her. Let's go. Shi Yuan grabbed Su Xing and wanted to leave. Su Xing shook his head. He brimmed with curiosity towards that easygoing manner, that self-confident smile of the girl in front of him. He asked, what matter? What other matter could evil smiting Hall have? Yuqi helplessly said, of course it's a star beast. Yuqi originally was in this lake catching the urgent sea white spirit python. Too, but it escaped onto the cliffs. I cannot catch it. Su Xing, are you willing or not to help a virtuous woman? Yuqi covered her mouth, her blue eyes blinking. Su Xing. Shi Yuan shouted in displeasure. What price are you willing to pay? Su Xing chuckled. Could it be you want me to help give you a blowjob? Yuqi bit her middle finger. Su Xing's cheeks reddened. She spoke too shamelessly. We also want to catch a star beast, and it might have escaped into these water. Su Xing calmed himself down. The waters are but Yuqi's domain. I help you find it, and you help me? No problem. Su Xing nodded. Shi Yuan wanted to stop them, but she choked back what she was on the verge of saying. She could not possibly let go of a good chance for the three burrows crafty rabbit for the sake of preference. Even if she was willing, Su Xing would not be willing. And what is that? A rabbit hole. Shi Yuan slowly replied. Yuqi's white finger gently drew a circle in the air. A clear river visible to the naked eye rolled in the surroundings, the waters bringing a distinct blue light. The girl's eyes also became vast and deep like the ocean. Su Xing had never seen such gentle and beautiful eyes, and was stunned for a moment. Part. Yuqi softly laughed. The waters of such a large lake suddenly changed, dancing under the girl's fingertip as if it had a spiritual nature. A blue wave swam about underwater, like a spirit under the water. There was a glittering and gorgeous starlight, and the entire lake instantly became a supercluster that instant. Even Shi Yuan was somewhat amazed. Su Xing could not discern the star position of the girl in front of him. He brought out the birth treasure outline, the golden pages in his hand. Su Xing smiled. Do you mind if I take a look at your secrets? Peeking into a lady's secrets is but very improper conduct. Yuqi objected. Just treat it as payback for peeping on us just now. Su Xing waved his hand, then opening the birth treasure outline. Yuqi rolled her eyes. Star position, damage star 3-star name, Zhang Shun nickname, white stripe in the waves 5 true name, Zhang Yuqi rank, 30th star weapon, white water mirror heart 6 3-star star beast, urgent sea white spirit python 7th rank, realm, 10,000 techniques 4th stage innate skill, wave treading water escape, 7 5 elements, water yellow rank special move, wild bee butterfly wave, 8, dark rank special move. All rivers reach seas 9 current status, no contractor can be conquered, detailed materials. As expected, she was a water-type star general. White water mirror heart. Su Xing had actually never heard of this star weapon. Taking a look, He noticed Zhang Yuqi's ring finger wore a watercolored ring. As if it was a twisting water dragon, it was inlaid with a dragon pearl, emitted a blue light, and had 3 stars. This ought to be that white water mirror heart. Shall you introduce this sister? Zhang Yuqi smiled. This is Shi Yuan, Su Xing said. Shi Yuan pouted, grunting at this voyeur elder sister. So you are little sister thief star. A while afterwards, the water-colored rays inside the lake gradually dimmed. The white stripe in the waves used a water-form tracking star magic. Indeed, she found several caves. Su Xing inwardly exclaimed that the white stripe in the waves in front of him truly was too convenient. Worthy of she who was a water general. Come with me. Zhang Yuqi jumped into the lake, her natural and forced figure more nimble than fish or dragon. Her slender jade legs dolphin-kicked, looking exactly like a mermaid freely traveling in the water. Those jade feet truly were perfect. Su Xing followed along behind, sighing. His wrist hurt, for Shi Yuan pinched him. Su Xing, you look like you want to eat her up. Shi Yuan's jealous voice entered his mind. Su Xing awkwardly laughed. However, the white stripe in the waves in front gave Su Xing a feeling that honestly was very breathtaking. Like the legendary mermaid. The lake's depths were very clear. The reefs, aquatic plants and normal fishes and prawn frolicked about, constructing a tranquil scene. Zhang Yuqi's figure flashed, a graceful stopping motion. She stood in the water's depths, her hand pointed at a cave covered by the aquatic grasses. According to what Shi Yuan said, the 3 burrows crafty rabbit could establish 3 holes wherever it wished, regardless of whatever environment it was in. Water depth or flames were not a problem. Fortunately, that 3 burrows crafty rabbit had not yet opened the 3rd eye. Otherwise, the 3 caves could arbitrarily move. It would simply be impossible to catch without at least a month. However, constructing one of its caves inside the water truly was very creative. Fortunately, they had the white stripe in the waves, otherwise, they would have only found it after who knew however long. Do you want me to help you? This young lady can do it herself. Shi Yuan blurted. Her hoodwinking flying claws drilled into the cave, and the burrow leaked water bubbles. The star crest on Shi Yuan's forehead flashed, the 2 claws incessantly waving, wanting to pull the 3 burrows crafty rabbit out. She did not have to keep any apprehensions as this was the final cave anyways. It seemed that the 3 burrows crafty rabbit inside the cave was putting up a struggle, but Su Xing and Zhang Yuqi retreated to the side. This duel seemed endless. The time they held their breaths grew longer. Su Xing gradually felt his lungs were somewhat uncomfortable, but he felt embarrassed to disturb Shi Yuan. Zhang Yuqi's face wore a slight smile as she swam to Su Xing's side, like a nimble water snake. Her finger waved, and the white water mirror heart shot a bolt of blue light into Su Xing's throat. Suddenly, his lungs' discomfort disappeared. Su Xing nodded at her, expressing his thanks. Zhang Yuqi easily danced in the water, teasing. Little sister Shi Yuan's star weapon is only 2 star. As her man, you cannot be only just giving strength to your lower body and not care for your upper body. Su Xing. The girl's laugh penetrated through the lake water, easily pouring into his ear. Why don't you sign a contract? Su Xing coughed, discovering it was actually very easy to speak underwater. Star cultivators are cats upon the riverbank, and I am the fish in the water, a shark. Can a shark sign a contract with a cat? Zhang Shun countered with a question. You might find a big cat. Su Xing was not to be outdone. A big cat that cannot enter the water, and can only stay in the sewers. Zhang Yuqi innocently winked. Just as Su Xing wanted to speak, Shi Yuan already swam between them, displeased as she interrupted them. She pulled Su Xing, and Su Xing understood. He raised a flying sword, and glancing at Zhang Yuqi he rushed up. Although Zhang Yuqi could not use a flying sword, the speed of her swimming movements underwater was not the least bit slow. When she breached the water's surface, she was like those mermaids. Yuan, how was it? Su Xing asked. Successful. The 3 burrows crafty rabbit appeared on Shi Yuan's shoulder, less panic-stricken compared to before and more docile. The 107th ranked star beast actually was very simple. Can you help me now? Zhang Yuqi smiled. Su Xing doesn't have time, elder sister. Feel relieved you can be a shark in the water by yourself. Shi Yuan giggled. Zhang Yuqi did not become angry, only gazing at Su Xing like this. This was actually the first time Su Xing had caught sight of such a completely defenseless star maiden. But although the damaged star in front of him smiled innocently, beneath the surface she was absolutely two-faced. Su Xing said, "On what basis did you believe I would help you catch that white spirit python? Don't forget these are the star duels now. You and I are enemies." In the past star duels, star masters often liked to kill star generals inside Evil Smiting Hall. You should know this point. If you truly wanted to kill me, would you still have taken the risk to dive together with me? Su Xing laughed in spite of himself, for what she said was spot on. A person that actually exhibited killing intent definitely would comprehensively plan, and would be completely unlike Su Xing, who placed himself into the waters that Zhang Yuqi excelled in. That undoubtedly was inviting death upon himself. With this thinking, the thoughts of the damaged star before them could be said to be careful deductions. Dazzled, Su Xing broke into a cold sweat when he thought of this. If Zhang Yuqi wanted to kill him, even if he did not die, perhaps he would have to leave the Evil Smiting Hall. Shi Yuan also thought of this, drawing in a breath. The innocent and harmless smile of white stripe in the waves in front of them was honestly too deceptive. Su Xing had forgotten this was Evil Smiting Hall, the first step to beginning the death battle of star generals. It can't be only because of this that you would believe in me this much? Su Xing asked. Of course not. Zhang Yuqi snapped a crisp finger snap, smiling with narrowed eyes. Did you think me watching for that long was only because I wanted to enjoy an erotic scene moving back and forth? Please, that is as boring as fish copulating. Su Xing. Shi Yuan. This girl appeared so joyous and cute, yet her speech was damaged, not just in name but in reality. I saw that little sister Shi Yuan unexpectedly helped do that sort of thing. This demonstrated you were at the very least worthy of believing in. Worthy for a sister to go trust. Speaking from a certain perspective, you would not be Yuqi's enemy, because a man that can make a sister go trust him for all her life must be very gentle. Yuqi surmises, Su Xing, that you even do not wish to initiate a star duel. If someday you are fortunate enough to obtain Maiden Mountain's wish, it cannot be said for certain that you would allow us sisters to end the star duels. Zhang Yuqi calmly analyzed. Not a single word she said was off, making Su Xing and Shi Yuan listen tongue-tied, inwardly praising her. Shi Yuan was even somewhat suspicious of whether or not the white stripe in the waves before them from the very beginning had been spying on Su Xing. In actuality, there was another reason that the damaged star white stripe in the waves Zhang Yuqi could be this confident, and that was her star weapon, White Water Mirror Heart. Acting as the rarely seen ring star weapon in the 108, the White Water Mirror Heart also possessed the ability to see through a person's feelings. It was able to more or less appraise the good and evil of a person's heart, so Zhang Yuqi then dared to have discourse with Su Xing the Star Master in Evil Smiting Hall. And it was precisely because of this White Water Mirror Heart, having reached the third phase, that damaged star Zhang Shun still did not find a single man she took to her fancy. You can test gold by using fire, test a woman by using gold, test a man by using a woman. How is this? Has Yuqi felt you out correctly? Zhang Yuqi smiled. If, Su Xing, you truly want to betray Yuqi, then Yuqi can only admit it. Su Xing heard that the final phrase Zhang Yuqi still had some worry. Su Xing inwardly laughed and nodded. I shall do my utmost. Su Xing Shi Yuan twitched her lips. The other elder sisters are still waiting. We won't use much time. Su Xing smiled. The white stripe in the waves analyzed very correctly. To say the least, something like betrayal. Su Xing truly did not wish to do that. It was only helping her capture the urgent sea white spirit python, nothing more. It was not at all something serious. Actually, Su Xing did not lack another way of thinking. Not killing them underwater, and on the contrary helping them clearly demonstrated the girl's heart was not bad. It could not be said for certain that someday she could help in the star duels. The road is a bit far. If I were to go by water, it would be somewhat slow, and I fear it will require some time. Do you mind? Zhang Yuqi said. Are you not thinking of having me take you there? Su Xing could not help smiling. Get on the flying sword. Zhang Yuqi gently smiled, not hesitating in the slightest to hop onto the flying sword, coming on more naturally than Shi Yuan. A sea wave's fragrance soaked into his lungs. The girl's hair was velvety, slightly more gentle than water. Her butt stuck against Su Xing without caring in the slightest. Shi Yuan behind wrapped her arms around Su Xing. Su Xing took in a deep breath, and the flying sword skyrocketed. How did you find me? Su Xing asked curiously as he flew, overlooking Evil Smiting Hall, so large and boundless. Evil Smiting Hall was the place star generals caught star beasts, but it appeared simply completely uninhabited, a suffocating quiet. Did you think that I am called White Stripe in the waves for nothing? Let alone your movements that were so fierce. Zhang Yuqi slightly raised her neck, the corner of her mouth holding back a smile. She deliberately stepped backwards, making her body stick to Su Xing's chest. He clearly felt the girl's lustrous skin. Acting as a good man, you meet the standard. But as a good star master, you completely fail. Zhang Yuqi continued to speak. I'm all ears. Although little sister Shi Yuan is neither a martial general nor a magic general, the thief star has very formidable concealment arts. Yet little sister's star weapon is merely 2-star. At the 3rd stage, not reaching 4-star is disappointing, and your galaxy middle stage is somewhat lacking. Do not blame Yuqi for speaking so unpleasantly. Current star masters are subpar, and galaxy middle stage star masters are the most low class. How did Su Xing feel this was so awkward? Elder sister, you're the one that's low class, you voyeur. Shi Yuan saw that Zhang Yuqi was underestimating Su Xing, unhappily saying, that I do not upgrade my star weapon is because Su Xing wants to help elder sister Yingmei, elder sister little E, elder sister little Huang. Elder sister Yingmei is a heavenly star, and her star weapon is already 3-star. Yuaner. Shi Yuan realized her slip of the tongue and fell silent. Zhang Yuqi blinked. Yet she only felt Shi Yuan was kidding. A star master having 2 of the sisters was the limit. She would not believe one would have 3. Seeing Shi Yuan so very in love with Su Xing, she only took it to be her being unaccepting and angry. If there truly is a heavenly star at 3-star, that can be considered middle class. You sound like you know a lot? Su Xing smiled. Then I'm actually very curious who can be upper class. There is only one who is upper class. If you see a 15 to 16-year-old youth star master in the future, the farther you are from him, the better. This is Yuqi's advice. A 15 to 16-year-old youth. Su Xing seemed to have seen one somewhere. And Yuqi hears his star general is already 4-star. 4-star. An earthly star then. Shi Yuan was unconvinced. She is a heavenly star, and she is also a super powerful star general. In martial force, she ranks in the top 3. Impossible. 4-star? This is too quick. Elder sister must be joking. According to Shi Yuan's understanding, the elder sister before her must be two-faced. Destined star weapons use 3-star as a threshold. 4-star materials often were extremely rare and expensive. 4-star in the current phase as well as being a heavenly star basically was unrivaled. Shi Yuan knew that even if it was that 8th generation star duel obsessed with star weapon upgrades, the previous frightening 9-star destined weapon harm star reportedly had only reached 4-star at the 3rd phase. However, that she could reach 4-star was more or less somewhat lucky. Could it be this generation would again turn out another 9-star? Wusong Su Xing was pensive. Zhang Yuqi's face wore a slight smile as she shrugged. Her gaze was looking ahead, at green mountains and clear waters, the flickering lights and passing shadows, at the white clouds and horizon. Evil Smiting Hall seemed to have become incomparably tiny, and she was in amazement. Stop over there. Zhang Yuqi pointed at a valley. This valley had a small lake. That lake was somewhat odd, slowly squirming and rolling with an eddy. That is a star beast? Shi Yuan's good eyes saw that. It is my star beast. Zhang Yuqi corrected. That is the urgent sea white spirit python. Su Xing was stunned. It was completely formed from water. Coiled up, it basically was a lake if one did not carefully look. As long as its outer water screen is broken, that will do. Zhang Yuqi said. Woo, it looks really big. Shi Yuan was somewhat anxious when she saw that lake water that could suck people down. Zhang Yuqi eyed. Are men not fond of being big? Only then would a woman be satisfied. What are you saying? Shi Yuan clicked her tongue. Don't say senseless words. We only need to break its outer water cover? Su Xing asked. Zhang Yuqi nodded. For a star general to capture a star beast, generally there were particular conditions. Shi Yuan's was destroy the 3 crafty rabbits' dens, and this urgent sea white spirit python was not very difficult either. After breaking the outer water cover, Zhang Yuqi naturally had a way to capture it. In the water, I already was close to capturing it. But this brute unexpectedly escaped onto the shore, and I was at wit's end. The white stripe in the waves was a water general. In the water, she could stir up havoc, but if she broke away from the water, Zhang Yu probably would be no better than Shi Yuan. It is already somewhat weak. Your man ought to very easily undo it. Or perhaps driving it back into the water can work. Su Xing beckoned with his hand, and the 12 Lengya stuck beside him, their green lights hovering. Zhang Yuqi saw that the flying swords were out of the ordinary, and she showed an astonished expression. Zhang Yuqi, if you were a bit gentler, I think your star beast wouldn't have run ashore. Su Xing smiled. Shi Yuan could not help but guffaw. The flying swords rushed down, and the 2 girls also ran after the flying swords. The urgent sea white spirit python noticed the group. The valley's river suddenly wriggled continuously, becoming a body. A fantastical python head appeared. It opened its mouth, and more than 1,000 water snakes sprayed out from its mouth, just like blooming algae. It turned into hurricane-like arrows that simultaneously rushed Su Xing and the girls. It was the first time he faced this sort of torrential oppression, and Su Xing felt a heavy pressure push down on his whole body. The white stripe in the waves somersaulted in midair. She waved her hand, and the white water mirror heart released a brilliant light. The 1,000 water snakes rushing over promptly exploded, and turned into a downpour. The urgent sea white spirit python knew that this was useless against her. It hissed, opened its mouth, and its whole body flowed like a river, like boiling water. It was very hard to imagine what sort of tyrannical power it would release. It seemed to suck the rainwater into its chest, and the strong winds and waves immediately made the movements of Zhang Yuqi and the others end. The entire valley already became a hell of violent winds and rain. The group's movements began to grow more difficult. Waves suddenly pounced, and Zhang Yuqi was unable to instantly dispatch them. She could only use the white water mirror heart to block. The urgent sea white spirit python released a roar, transmitting an ear-splitting sound. Instantly, several dozen meteors with trailing mists broke the surface, dropping from its body, consecutively pounding towards Zhang Yuqi. 12 flying swords formed an enormous shield to protect her front, blocking the water meteors. I am preparing to use all rivers reach seas. Can you obstruct it for a bit? Zhang Yuqi said. Su Xing nodded. It was a pity that he could only use astral tools and astral treasures as well as life-cast sword chants inside Evil Smiting Hall. His ordinarily seemingly very powerful prehistoric spirit treasures had lost their scope for abilities. Otherwise, handling the urgent sea white spirit python actually would be very easy. The urgent sea white spirit python roared. The waves shook the sky, and it rushed towards them. Without saying a word, Su Xing and Shi Yuan glanced at each other. The two suddenly leapt into the air, flying towards the urgent sea white spirit python, star weapon and flying sword glimmering with light. In Evil Smiting Hall, all spirit treasures had already lost their usefulness, and he could only count on his own strength. Shi Yuan released the hoodwinking flying claws, the chains locking the urgent sea white spirit python. Su Xing also concentrated the heaven-sealing stillness hand, and a large hand of purple cloud appeared to grab the star beast. Then Su Xing did not hesitate at all to use Purple Mansion Immortal Thunder to create more than a dozen purple lotus flowers. Immediately afterwards, they struck to the urgent sea white spirit python, and the flying sword slashed. The white stripe in the wave Zhang Shun began to point at the urgent sea white spirit python. The white water mirror heart's 3 stars dazzled, and that pearl in the middle flashed with light, from dim to powerful. Zhang Yuqi currently was charging to full power her dark rank magic. The girl was somewhat amazed, for Su Xing and Shi Yuan's tacit understanding corresponded. The two of them were like intertwined phantoms, instantly attacking countless times in the surroundings. That man's martial force particularly did not seem bad, and his thoughts were very fine. The urgent sea white spirit python sensed danger, endlessly releasing water meteors to attack Zhang Yuqi, but each one was blocked by the 12 Langia. So he is not just a lower half man. Zhang Yuqi smiled with some interest. Liked it. A high scream resounded in the sky. The urgent sea white spirit python's giant body suddenly leapt. The waves on its body fiercely charged into the sky, and it spiraled in the air, already diving down, forming a frightening shock wave. The attack had not yet arrived when the strong wind pressure already blew the group's hairs into a flutter. The sand and stones on the ground were blown into rolling in all directions. The swift and severe whistle shook the eardrums of the surrounding people. The flying sword Langia's cloud mark meridians interweaved. Green light converged, and a green python seemed to appear around Su Xing's body. The urgent sea white spirit python indignantly roared. Its body continued to depend on water to grow, endlessly firing jets of water. The next moment, Su Xing already shot towards the urgent sea white spirit python together with the fluttering Langia. That black figure flit past the urgent sea white spirit python's body through a gap, shuttling past its storm-like attack, just like a quick sea swallow. Light rays as bright as snow drew open a giant circle in the air, suddenly cutting open the mist. The urgent sea white spirit python's entire body writhed. That mist on its body then blossomed, and two water dragons grew out of its water body. The huge water dragons seemed to rip apart the valley, bringing a great rain down that filled the skies. As far as the eye could see, the entire valley shuddered under the urgent sea white spirit python's attack. Crying, the unstoppable squall mixed with the attack of the frantic waves, like a mountain's imposing image. The urgent sea white spirit python occupied the air above just like this, bellowing down at them from above. A thunder roll-like rumble. The water dragon once again bubbled forth with countless water spouts. More than 1,000 water meteors broke out from the surface of its extended wings, scuttling across the sky like fireworks. Afterwards, they uniformly turned about, shooting towards the ground like a volley of arrows. Confronting a storm of water meteors filling the skies that were frantically pouncing down from above. At this moment, they could sense the enormous pressure. Fuck, this is the white stripe in the waves Zhang Shun's star beast? It was very ferocious. Su Xing knew that evil smiting Hull's star beasts were far from a genuine peak. After all, they were one in body with star generals. Their strength somewhat dwindled, but even like this they were seriously formidable. No wonder Liangshan continent were somewhat scared at the mere mention when discussing complete star generals. Possessing such powerful star beasts for protection and assistance, even supervoid stage cultivators would need to carefully deliberate. Su Xing raised both hands. Magic clouds and purple clouds gradually rose, urging the star energy in his whole body. The purple cloud true star slammed head-on into the water meteors. Careful, it is the white spirit python's urgent light magic. Zhang Yuqi yelled. Her words had just dropped when in the next instant, the urgent sea white spirit python's sharp horn suddenly fired a slim but matchlessly dazzling white line, wandering everywhere. The blindly attacking waves were completely different. This white line of light in midair drew a dazzling trajectory, splitting the space in half, shooting perfectly straight towards Su Xing. Langia simultaneously formed a shield. Clear light and white light knocked against one another. Unable to pierce through the 10,000-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo, the countless watery droplets burst open under the collision of two types of power, violently raising a cold wind. The urgent sea white spirit python saw this, and its urgent light beam once again fired. Several dozen white lights endlessly enveloped Su Xing. The Shiyuan and Zhang Yuqi to the side were targets as well. The thief star that completely lacked martial force was astonished. Just as Shiyuan was about to summon the Nirvana Ice Chief's puppet to go block, at this time, Su Xing escaped to her front. The flying swords linked into a phantom, breaking the entirety of the incoming white lights. Su Xing, you won't go worry about her? Shiyuan looked at the Zhang Yuqi strenuously supporting herself. Not knowing that the white stripe in the waves charging some ability, could only use a water screen to barely block. Originally, she could depend on Su Xing's flying swords to avert danger. Su Xing currently protecting Shi Yuan thus made her unable to persist. "You are my wifey and she is not," Su Xing matter-of-factly said. Shi Yuan was very happy to hear this, yet she still stuck out her tongue. "Still, we'd better help that elder sister, so as to avoid her saying bad things about Su Xing behind your back." The girl smiled. Her figure hid, for she used wind-chasing shadow hiding to thoroughly erase her presence. Roar! The urgent sea white spirit python was just like a white blade directly pouncing towards Zhang Yuqi. Facing the fiercely rushing white spirit python, the white stripe in the waves had the intent to retreat when just at this moment, 12 blue-green flying swords fell before her eyes, allowing Zhang Yuqi to heave a sigh of relief from her heart and concentrate on chanting the final incantation. Su Xing beckoned with his hand, and the 12 Langia were like an enormous curtain wall. The urgent sea white spirit python slammed with a rumbling boom. The life-cast flying swords and the cultivator were one in body. This tackle also shook Su Xing's organ into seemingly flipping upside down. Qi and blood endlessly rolled in his throat. How much longer? Su Xing struck several hand seals. Langia incessantly slashed, tenaciously not allowing the urgent sea white spirit python to advance one bit. "Stand aside!" Zhang Yuqi shouted. When Su Xing heard, he immediately dodged. At the same time, Langia scattered like birds. The urgent sea white spirit python went to swallow Zhang Yuqi. The white stripe in the waves pointed at the urgent sea white spirit python. A blue vortex appeared on the white water mirror heart. This whirlpool continuously enlarged, gradually revealing itself from the dragon pearl on the ring, becoming several zhang in size. A powerful pulling force immediately fixed the urgent sea white python in midair. A hurricane wreaked havoc, enveloping the entire valley. When it covered the urgent sea white spirit python, that water screen on its body was rolled into the vortex. The urgent sea white spirit python spared no effort in its struggle. Yet it was no use. This was the white stripe in the wave's dark rank star magic. All rivers reach seas. Su Xing hastily controlled the flying swords to protect himself, finding that Yuaner at this time could not bear Zhang Shun's star magic either, her stealth having been broken. Su Xing escaped to her side and embraced her. "Do you want to enter the star nest?" Shi Yuan shook her head, her gaze fixed on Zhang Yuqi. "So incredible. Worthy of a heavenly star," Su Xing said. And the water screen was stripped from the urgent sea white spirit python's body, as if its power had been pulled clean off by all rivers reach seas, gradually exposing its true body. Astonishingly, it was a pure white, scaleless serpentine python beast with a flowing body and a single horn. A pair of blue eyes twinkled with light, and its several dozen zhang long body pervaded with a mysterious watery light. It seemed that this made the enormous white python look as if it was swimming in the Sa. In several breaths' time, Zhang Yuqi's all rivers reach seas stripped away all of the urgent sea white spirit python's water screen. The girl pointed, and the white water mirror heart released a gorgeous water light that suddenly enveloped the urgent sea white spirit python's body. Zhang Yuqi's forehead clearly showed a water blue star crest, currently incessantly entering the urgent sea white spirit python's snake head. Afterwards, she raised the evil smiting writ. The evil smiting writ that used every sort of material to refine became shattered pieces that entered its body. A moment later, the urgent sea white spirit python finally stopped struggling. Its whole body flashed with a blue radiance, and it retracted its malevolence. When Zhang Yuqi saw, she slightly smiled. She leapt, jumping onto the urgent sea white spirit python's body. Clearly it was already captured. The urgent sea white spirit python swam in front of Su Xing, flicking its snake tongue, exceptionally docile. "Do you want to come up?" The two of them unceremoniously climbed onto the python's back. The urgent sea white spirit python was wingless, yet it used the blue light of its whole body to baselessly soar. "It's rather big." Su Xing sized up this urgent sea white spirit python. A cursory look would show this practically was a giant dragon. Just this length was sufficient to make people fearful. Men, they like to be big, only then are they satisfied. Zhang Yuqi mockingly said. Su Xing. Elder sister, can't you the words you say more pleasant? Shi Yuan blurted. You've wasted Su Xing's goodwill trying to help you. Thanks Su Xing, you truly are an outstanding star master. No wonder little sister Yuaner would do that sort of thing for you. Zhang Yuqi nodded, calmly speaking. What do you want to go do next? Su Xing asked. Of course it is to prepare for the 4th phase. Zhang Yuqi matter-of-factly said. My meaning is, now that you have obtained your star beast, could it be you are still preparing alone? Zhang Yuqi teased. Could it be you have designs on Yuqi? A man like you truly cannot help but be patronizing. She turned her head, softly chuckling. Just forgetting about the little sister Shi Yuan behind you? Su Xing was left at a loss for words by her. He wanted to say that he did not have restrictions on signing contracts, but just as he was on the verge of saying so, it truly seemed he would just be resentful if he did and merely swallowed it back down. If you are willing, Yuaner would not mind. Su Xing seemed truthful and facetious. Don't be too greedy being a man, that will invite everyone's fury. Zhang Yuqi winked, slightly smiling. Shi Yuan was annoyed. Su Xing has several of the elder sisters that he wouldn't be greedy for you. Could it be you truly have several of the sisters? If that is true, Yuqi actually wishes to see. Su Xing remained silent. The urgent sea-white spirit python spun several times. Due to using the evil smiting writ to capture star beasts, Star General could not linger here for too long. The two again chatted for a time. Su Xing learned that Zhang Yuqi continuously stayed in the Black Turtle Territory. The Black Turtle Territory was a vast land with abundant resources with numerous islands. In addition, it possessed countless treasures that had yet to be excavated, unlike the Azure Dragon Territory dominated by sects standing out in great numbers. Thus, many star generals would congregate in the Black Turtle Territory. Someday, Su Xing would also need to go to this Black Turtle Territory, because the 4th phase began in the Black Turtle Territory. Bidding farewell to this mermaid-like two-faced star general, Su Xing was not in a hurry to leave. Seldom could he be alone with Shi Yuan. Shi Yuan also was somewhat wished to continue, and the two once again went sightseeing in the green mountains and waters. Only when the thief star was fully satisfied did they leave Evil Smiting Hall. The activity of there just now was quite large. It seems an elder sister has obtained a star beast. Upon a green mountain, there were 3 girls currently stopped as they looked into the distance, at the boundless mist far away in the distance, at the mountain ranges folded over one another, a beautiful sight. The girl in the center looked down to flip through a treasure book in her hand, her hair flowing, in a state of contemplation. Beside her was a girl with a tall stature, her skin the color of wheat, her pupils demonic though she was dressed in a refined manner. Her whole body had an aura that did not allow anyone to get close. She was the black whirlwind Li Longkue. As living goddess of lightning Jingji spoke, a white light flashed in the air, and then rapidly disappeared. Clearly, a sister obtained her star beast. Elder sister Qingxi, do you truly feel those elder sisters and little sisters would be willing to come accompany you to sign a star duel covenant? This is very insane. In the star duel's 9th generation, elder sister Qingxi unexpectedly wishes to attract several dozen sisters to attack Maiden Mountain? Wang Jingji giggled. Though Qingxi did not raise her head, that tender corner of her mouth hooked with a curve, as if she was gently smiling. However, now is the 3rd phase. I can understand that elder sister Qingxi wishes to seek sisters in Evil Smiting Hall to accompany her, but they mostly would have all signed contracts. Wang Jingji regretfully pursed her lips. Your servant certainly does not feel they would be this way. Qingxi closed the book, sinking into contemplation. Oh, then who is Qingxi preparing to find? Is it elder sister Huarong, or is it big sis Lu Junyi? Perhaps that legendary Wusong is also very good. But she would not come to Evil Smiting Hall. Wang Jingji said. Of course it is her, a little sister that plays a pivotal role in the star duels that has nevertheless been overlooked. But elder sister very much feels other sisters will follow. Jingji is not too convinced. This practically is unprecedented, a shocking matter. All rivers reach seas, let alone that what your servant wants to do is even larger than the sea. Qingxi gently smiled. Though her voice was quiet, Her ambitions were nevertheless big. Chao Gai sought out this palace. Currently laying open a chessboard with Wuxia. The Chai Ling playing chess suddenly spoke. Why would she want to seek you out? Wuxia lifted her head from the game of chess, seemingly asking yet not. And why else would she? Only to discuss the past star duels, the previous overlord. Oh, and your young master Su Xing. Chai Ling absent-mindedly replied. What did she say? Wuxia moved her pieces, her brow slightly wrinkled. Chai Ling seemed to smile yet not. Knowledge star, you ought to know the heavenly mystery. Actually, you ought to be the most clear that in the past star duels, Star Master's contracting 2 was already the limit. Yet he has contracted 7. If this continues, the star duels will be a thing in his bag. Call out for that maiden mountain to endure this. What, the little whirlwind has become Chao Gai's mouthpiece? Wuxia slightly smiled. You schemed this way to make Su Xing attract sisters. You definitely knew this sort of situation would occur, but you must be clear. How can the maiden mountain that can make the rules have those rules be so easily toppled by someone? Anything you do would be in vain. Chai Ling subtly moved her piece. Just like these pieces of ours. The horse cannot move horizontally, the soldier must not cower back, and the generals must not leave for a reason. These are the rules. If this chess is changed, is it still chess? Does the noble star feel we sisters are that maiden mountain's chess pieces? Chai Ling covered her mouth, her tone somewhat self-mocking. If not chess pieces, then why star duel? This time the champion is not yet clear. And you are this convinced that he will complete this wish? Chai Ling was amazed. Perhaps in the very first 2 generations of star dells, there would be a sister that thought of ending the star duels, but following the passage of time, this sort of consideration was increasingly rare. Custom was a terrifying weapon, one that would make people lose sight and unable to free themselves. Liangshan continent was increasingly throwing itself into the ranks of the star duels contests. This generation even manifested the situation of the star masters of the great sects, each possessing their own prehistoric spirit treasure. And that victor's wish. Chai Ling was also very skeptical of anyone being able to endure this sort of supreme enticement. Little whirlwind, as the noble star, you should understand much about the star duels. Xinjia has a question that she always cannot solve, and wishes to ask you for guidance. Wu Xinjia twitched her lips. Chai Ling indifferently said, Speak. In the past 8 generations of star duels, other than the previous Wu Song, there should be 7 overlords at the very least, but we have never heard of their wishes? Chai Ling, do you know what they were? Wu Xinjia somewhat incomprehensibly gazed at Chai Ling. This question. This palace indeed has investigated. Chai Ling shook her head. But after ascending Maiden Mountain, they were never again seen since. As for just what happened, the past generations of Noble Star also are not clear. Perhaps they went to Star World and obtained immortality, or perhaps they freed themselves from the cycle of the star duels. Who knows? Chai Ling was not in the least concerned. Never again seen since? Chai Ling nodded. Wu Xinjia sunk into contemplation. Chai Ling felt that the knowledge star had no need to go concern herself with things that happened after victory. Since Maiden Mountain could create the rules, it was obviously above Liangshan continent. The victor could receive a wish and certainly remained in Maiden Mountain. Asceticism was also possible. Never mind that eternal life was not worth her concern. Knowledge star, this palace feels you also are quite tricky, to have been able to recruit sisters like the leisure star, the skillful star, the majestic star and even harm star Wusong. That man having you truly is his fortune. Chai Ling looked around at the sisters in the immortal's abode, her tone unfathomable. Surveying this place, any one of the heavenly star was a star general shockingly capable of raising a reign of terror in Liangshan. At this time, they nevertheless were dominated by a man. Even noble star Little Whirlwind Chai Ling was somewhat envious. And it was no wonder that Maiden Mountain would get angry. Wu Xinjia shook her head and smiled. Xinjia did not use any tricks. Elder sister, there is no need to deceive this palace. Chai Ling was unconvinced. Who in this world does not know the knowledge star's tricks? It was not as if Wu Xinjie did not think of not using tricks, but Su Xing's nature was basically disgusted with this sort of behavior, so even if she had some tricks, she had no choice but to restrain herself. Truly? All of them were by that man's doings alone. Chai Ling was astonished. Precisely this way. Wu Xinjie somewhat a little bit pleased with herself. Seeing Chai Ling was still somewhat doubtful, Wu Xinjie mocked her. Noble star, did you not also willingly ingest together to hell with young lord? The little whirlwind opened the golden thread feather fan, concealing her expression. However, this palace has remembered something. Knowledge star, have you forgotten about her? And, although she is insignificant, she is also nevertheless a most crucial little sister. Recruiting her to your side will certainly be beneficial. Chai Ling said. You speak of jade-armed craftsman Jin Daijian? Tu Wu Xinjie shook her head. How could she not have thought of this point before? Once before, they mentioned this little sister. Jin Daijian was inferior in martial force among the 108. There practically were not any star cultivators willing to sign a contract with her, but her abilities nevertheless were extremely good, like Tang Lianxin and Suwen and Shi Yuan, who had those sorts of specializations. She could carve precious stones and extract essence jade. In the future, star weapon upgrade materials and stones would be expensive, and they would need to extract the essence of items. They would need to depend on jade carving masters. If they had the jade-armed craftsmen, those skillful hands could aid them. They could greatly raise their star weapons upgrade speed and save enormous expenditures. It was just that all those supplementary earthly star sisters were better and better at hiding. Before the fourth phase concludes, practically no one could find them. In the boundless Liangshan, Wu Xinjie could only depend on things like the Four Styles School to encounter them by chance. This evil smiting hall is a good opportunity. The jade-armed craftsman will need to show herself. Chai Ling said. Furthermore, she gazed at the reclusive Tang Lianxin and smiled. Furthermore, a tool refinement master and a jade refining master's star beasts both match up. Perhaps you can run into her. Let nature take its course for this sort of matter. Young lord has his own views. Wu Xinjie was without a choice. Chai Ling moved to take a soldier, gracefully saying, Let nature take its course. This is not at all like the knowledge star's style. Yes, this palace can point out one or two things for you. Then you still keep up the suspense. Wu Xinjie unhappily said. Gold, jade and red everywhere, dragon and phoenix compete in favor. Who says their paths differ? Those who disagree scheme, completely in the center. Chai Ling indignantly recited. This is a phrase this palace sought the divine mathematician, Jiang Jing, to calculate. Knowledge star, you can consult. The divine mathematician? You know her location? Wu Xinjie was stunned. Divine mathematician Jiang Jing was also considered spiritual energy type star general among the 108, but her computing ability was very powerful. There was one major characteristic, and that was she could calculate the mysteries behind a certain event. The divine mathematician's innate skill, divine calculation, 3, is but very beneficial to this palace. Of course this palace knows. Chai Ling's expression was very lovely. If you, the knowledge star, wishes to seek her, this palace actually can give you information. Wu Xinjie smiled to thank her. Jumping her chariot to the end, she checkmated Chai Ling. Chai Ling froze, stored her fan and twitched her lips. You really are ruthless. Space broke open. Su Xing and Shi Yuan returned to the Void Immortal's abode. The others girls in succession each went to hug him. Even the coldest Wu Xiyo's brows rose. Your speed was very fast. Just one day's time and you captured her star beast. Wu Xinjie stepped forward and smiled. Our luck's not bad. Su Xing said. We ran into the white stripe in the waves. The white stripe in the waves. Damaged star Zhongshan. All of the girls showed slight surprise. Su Xing summarized what happened. Truly an interesting little sister. Young lord just so happens to not have a water general. Do you not have plans to take her into the harem? Wu Xinjie giggled. Su Xing rolled his eyes at her. What, taken or not, she isn't a commodity. Wu Xinjie stuck out her tongue, turning her head to intentionally glance at Chai Ling, that expression seemingly saying, Did you hear my young lord's words? Chai Ling was pensive. Next is Lianxin. You go with me together to Evil Smiting Hall. Su Xing extended his hand in invitation. Young master, do you want to first rest a bit? Lin Yingmei said. It's okay. I'm very full of energy. Su Xing chuckled. Before they emerged, he and Shi Yuan unavoidably made trouble once more. The fine lady's essence gathering's depths could restore energy. Even if he had fought the Urgent Sea's white spirit python, Su Xing's current vigor was abundant. Wu Xinjie nodded. An earthly star's star beast was not difficult to capture. Now was a race against time. The earlier they could capture star beasts, the more they had an advantage. Young lord, when you and little sister Lianxin go to Evil Smiting Hall in a moment, see whether or not you can find the location of gold, jade and red everywhere. Gold, jade and red everywhere? Yes, that place should have little sister Lianxin's star beast, and perhaps you will encounter a sister. Su Xing understood. Tang Lianxin and Su Xing gazed at each other. They poured each of their star energies into Evil Smiting Hall. Their star crests launched, and they immediately became illusions that left the void immortal's abode. This time, the place Su Xing and Tang Lianxin appeared at was on a mound of rocks. All around was entirely a wilderness, the air very dry. Gold, jade and red everywhere. Su Xing surveyed for a moment, not finding anything coinciding with the description. Elder brother, let us first go to the surroundings and look. Tang Lianxin said nothing else, boarding the fire beacon chariot to search this sector of Evil Smiting Hall. Su Xing knew that Tang Lianxin's temperament did things in a direct manner. He could not help smiling, and he controlled his flying sword to follow her up. Although it was said the Evil Smiting Writ would take a star general to the domain of a star beast, Evil Smiting Hall was large practically beyond reason. To find one or two star beasts was like finding a needle in a haystack. Lianxin, what's your star beast like? A gold coin-spotted leopard? Su Xing asked. That is a martial force type star beast. Tang Lianxin answered. Several hours later, the sky very quickly turned dark. Su Xing and Tang Lianxin gave up on their search for the time being and sought out a place to hide at, lighting a bonfire. When Black Night arrived in Evil Smiting Hall, it appeared sinister and eerie. Bizarre star beast cries they did not hear during the day now came from all directions, clearly visible. Many star beasts favored coming out at night for their activities. Their danger level absolutely made people terrified, and among them were star beasts that were categorized as assassin type, which were even more impossible to defend against effectively. The temperature of Evil Smiting Hall's nights was very low. Due to only being able to use astral tools in Evil Smiting Hall, other artifacts and such lost their spiritual powers. Even with a star cultivator's surly physique, he was still unbearably frozen. Seeing Tang Lianxin expressionlessly hug herself, breathing on her hands, Su Xing walked over and sat beside her, one arm wrapping around Tang Lianxin's shoulder. Sleep in Big Brother's embrace. Tang Lianxin's whole body stiffened. Under the bonfire, her cheeks caught red clouds. Su Xing's chest was more burning, and the chill in her forelimbs instantly disappeared. Tang Lianxin softly grunted, not struggling as she quietly closed her eyes. The two people were silent that night. Several days afterwards, very late at night, shining moonlight, twinkling stars and a face-caressing gentle breeze. Any way it was looked at, the jungle's late-night tranquility was very suitable for dreaming, but some people nevertheless did not feel like this. At least Su Xing did not feel this way. If he truly was dreaming inside Evil Smiting Hall definitely was a nightmare. Su Xing ran unbridled in the forest. Through the moonlight, his agilely and nimbly dodged obstacles of all sorts. Behind him was a pursuing shadow. If it was not for that faint breathing and practically inaudible movements, it was simply hard to distinguish that was a living being. Su Xing named this shadow Assassin. In reality, this assassin was considerably faithful to its instincts. Roar! A beastly shout broke the silence. The shadow spared no effort to pounce over. The moonlight tore its camouflage. That was a dark and swarthy black panther. Su Xing whirled around, using the forest as a screen. He rapidly climbed over a tree, carefully concealing his own breathing. Truly, think of something and you'll bump into it. Su Xing felt even more helpless about his current situation. Several days before, his search with Tang Lianxin in Evil Smiting Hall for gold, jade and red everywhere was fruitless. At night, Su Xing was carried away by a whim to prepare dinner for Tang Lianxin. Star generals were indifferent to hunger, but since he nevertheless wanted to eat something, having himself crossed through the culinary delicacies of East and West, it was too sinful for Su Xing to not eat anything. As a result, Su Xing searched for prey in Evil Smiting Hall, for besides star beasts, every sort of beast was present in large numbers. A beast then became a meal, and they gorged on it that same evening. Tang Lianxin's expressionless face even exclaimed at the savory smell of pork. Just before Su Xing could be proud of himself, a black panther similarly had been lured over. A black panther that was clearly a star beast. Heaven knew whether this black panther fancied fried meat, or whether it fancied Su Xing ever since that night. The black panther would rapidly, precisely, and silently find him. Immediately afterwards was a hunt and deadly pursuit. This sort of hunt actually made Su Xing reminisce about a particular training scenario when he was previously in the army. This black panther not only held a grudge, it was also considerably intelligent. It always knew how it should hide itself. Regardless of whether it was a tree, the surrounding shrubs or even a cave, it could exploit any environment to avail itself an advantageous surprise attack, worthy of a star beast. However, each time the black panther suddenly launched a confident attack, he sensed it, and each danger was easily dodged by Su Xing, also making this bizarre game of assassin continue for several days. Because of that frightening concealment technique and noiseless killing intent of the black panther, Su Xing named it assassin. Su Xing watched his surroundings attentively, carefully observing even the movement of grass blown by the wind. Yesterday's experience informed him. The assassin before him completely was able to hide the probes of its divine sense. He did not know what pet of which family's child could be so unreasonable. Let me guess where you're hiding this time? Beneath the tree was very calm, and Su Xing suddenly leapt down. Are you above? Before he finished, a shadow pounced down from a tree above. Roar! The black panther let out an indignant sound after it was defeated again. The assassin rapidly chased. Up ahead was a cliff and waterfall. The black panther increased its speed, and after it rushed out of the forest, it saw that its prey was currently at a loss, hesitating at the shore. This time, the assassin did not rush. It slowly crept, as if it was enjoying its prey that had reached the end of its rope. Only then did Su Xing size up this hunting panther for the first time. Its first-rate body brimmed with the beauty of a Greek sculpture, its muscles rippling like waves. It had a pair of purple eyes, and especially interesting was that this black panther apparently dissolved into the shadows. Its whole body emitted a gorgeous shadow that was just like running water. You wouldn't happen to be that investigative star beast? Su Xing suddenly thought of something. If it truly was that investigative star Muhong's star beast, Su Xing did not mind first settling this himself. The black panther's purple eyes released a cold light. It flashed its deathly pale fangs, wildly pounced, and its paws also revealed sharp claws. The flowing shadows of fur on its whole body in that instant suddenly swelled, becoming nothingness. Disappearing then reappearing. Astonishingly, it arrived right in front of Su Xing. Originally, I wanted to get myself a star beast. It seems there's no chance. Su Xing sighed. In the instant the black panther was close, Su Xing's fingers flicked, and the 12 Lengia's green light linked together, becoming a green flying sword, shooting straight up. In the end, assassin was an assassin. Just at the time it knocked against the tree trunk, the black panther unexpectedly could control its body's nerves to leap from the tree trunk and dash up. The green sword light that Langia rippled out unexpectedly had been seen as nothing and was avoided. No way. Su Xing was astonished at this cleverness. Roar roar. The black panther's language translated into human words was probably die idiot. Su Xing's hands came together. True star purple cloud slapped down in one palm. Immediately afterwards, the ground and trees rapidly scattered. A golden net was lifted up from the ground and firmly trapped the black panther within, suspending it between several trees. This net was an astral treasure Chai Ling specially lent. Wrapping star net. No matter how the Black Panther howled and tore, it was no use. Finally, it's caught. Su Xing wiped his sweat. Tang Lianxin walked out from a nook. Elder brother, there is no need to gain experience from this star beast. Tang Lianxin was apathetic. Can I take this star beast back to be a pet? Su Xing's eyes glowed. Since Evil Smiting Hall had this many star beasts, he wondered whether or not he could take one or two. For this reason did he try as much. It will not work. Tang Lianxin shook her head. A star general's star beast is one in body. That is why they can capture one, and other people absolutely cannot. Is that so? Su Xing still wanted to try. Staring at the struggling Black Panther, he struck several hand seals, and he launched the star crest on his forehead. This provoked the Black Panther into howling. Just at this moment, Su Xing suddenly sensed danger. He pulled Tang Lianxin and stamped his foot, flying into the air, and an afterimage just happened to flit by. Elder brother? Su Xing firmly stared at the ground, striking hand seals, circulating the purple cloud. Star Master, you truly are loathsome, unexpectedly thinking of snatching this lady's star beast. The opponent did not give chase, standing where she was. Wrapped in black night clothes, her posture was graceful, her hands and feet equipped with fishnet-style pads and stockings, and she had a pair of gleaming purple eyes. Su Xing flipped out the birth treasure outline and looked. Characters slowly revealed themselves. Star position: Guardian Star 2 star name, Mu Chun 3 nickname. Little Restrained true name? Rank: 80th star weapon, Frost Moon Ruinous Light 5 3 star star beast. Rank: Realm, 10,000 techniques first stage innate skill. Perception 6 5 elements. Metal Yellow rank special move, Dark Attack, 7 dark rank special move. Flickering Light Passing Shadows, 8 current status. No contractor can be conquered. Detailed materials. Little Restrained? Aren't you the little sister of last time's Unrestrained? Su Xing was stunned. The birth treasure outline? The Guardian Star was startled. She did not expect the Star Master she ran into would be one that possessed the birth treasure outline. To be able to possess the second phase's divine item, she had taken it for granted they were some level of characters. Before Su Xing could say anything, Guarding Star Mu Chun shouted, "This lady does not wish to fight you. Is this star beast yours?" The Een Room Black Panther. 9 If not this lady's, could it be yours? Guardian Star Mu Chun's arms and legs were nimble. Seeing that the Black Panther had been trapped, she took the opportunity to flip out the evil smiting writ. Tang Lianxin's hand gestured, and the wrapping star net retracted. Ah! Mu Chun was dumbstruck. To reap without sowing is always bad. Su Xing chuckled. Its figure flashed, and the Een Room Black Panther roared. The ground suddenly leaked a stifling shadowy wall. The Een Room Black Panther had launched an attack. Little Restraint's reactions were very quick, and her figure dispersed into the night. The dual sabers Frost Moon Ruinous Light, hooking out 2 lines of red and green that twisted towards the Een Room Black Panther. A shadowy light just like a saber tip brushed open the double saber's red line. Unexpected at this time, the Een Room Black Panther had already arrived in front of Mu Chun, its big mouth wide open. The girl was calm, her double sabers faced head-on, the red line intensively growing. The Een Room Black Panther's roar was like thunder, and the flying red light was ripped apart by a visible shadow. The created shadow was just like a viper in its vicious pursuit, not giving the slightest chance for a breather. Shadowy killing intent pressure from all 4 directions. The assassin melted into the darkness, pounced, seemingly blending together with the Een Room Black Panther's shadow, unable to distinguish between what was real and not. It seemed that it indeed was her star beast. Elder brother? Tang Lianxin directed an inquisitive gaze at Su Xing. Su Xing observed for a while. The Guardian Star Little Restrained was somewhat inferior compared to the investigative Star Unrestrained, but she was very calm. Su Xing thought that a sneak attack inevitably would not yield results. Let alone the girl was battling the Een Room Black Panther. She was still at the same time alert of Su Xing the Star Master. To seize the opportunity to kill her was not possible. However, he could not feel that he could walk away like this from a problem. Do you need help? Su Xing asked to feel her out. Fine. The girl's consent was considerably straightforward. So quick. Could it be you plan to exploit me capturing the star beast to come kill me? Su Xing smiled. To kill you, huh? If this lady wanted to kill you, the flickering light passing shadow this lady used just now could kill off that elder sister, or little sister. Little Restrained retreated, her double sabers dancing. Su Xing nodded. Her words actually were fact, so Su Xing did not move against her. If worst comes to worst, this lady shall help you obtain a star beast. How is that? Little Restrained was an assassin, after all, not very good at direct confrontations. If it was not for Su Xing previously exhausting the Room Black Panther considerably, she basically could not persist for too long. Su Xing inquisitively looked to Tang Lianxin. Tang Lianxin did not have any opinion. Right. How is your relationship with your elder sister, Investigative Star? Su Xing asked. Why are you so pesky? The guarding star clicked her tongue. The Investigative Star? Oomph. Do you know where she is? This lady is currently looking for her to settle which of us is better. Truly, what would this lady fool you for? All right then. Su Xing did not need much time to decide to help her. Lightly raising a hand, the flying swords he called forth slashed. Tang Lianxin again released the wrapping star net. However, while the wrapping star net was incredible at capturing things, its speed was slightly slow, particularly when the Room Black Panther's speed was considerably quick. In the end, it was only with the combined efforts of Su Xing and Mu Chun-ten that they trapped it. Ha 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 ha, in this lady's capacity as an assassin, she has obtained a star beast without having signed a dual covenant. Ha 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 ha, I Mu Duang, 11 truly am a genius, yeah. The girl was excited to madness as she looked at the docile Room Black Panther, having entirely forgotten Su Xing had helped her. Seeing her so excited, Su Xing wiped his sweat as he watched from nearby. Then you completely can sign a star dual covenant. Su Xing was confused at her. Since she wanted a star beast so much, and since it was an earthly star beast, she could easily settle it with a star master. A star master? Little Restrained Mu Duang showed disdain. Have you seen my elder sister? And Su Xing nodded. Has she signed a star dual covenant? Mu Duang asked. Su Xing did not conceal anything, not only speaking of which sect she contracted with, but he even said who she was with. HM. As expected, she has contracted. Mu Duang hooked a smile, her eyes somewhat frenzied. This lady wants to kill her without having signed a contract. Only like this will it show that I am a step higher than the Investigative Star. Why is this lady rank 80th? Truly this is disappointing. Su Xing's cold sweat overflowed. Having seen many grounds for killing someone, he had not seen a reason like this. Merely out of higher ranking, this elder sister truly was a cold and gloomy assassin in name and reality. Although the Little Restrained in front of him appeared to be much more meek than her elder sister, inside her bones still was an assassin's ruthlessness. You without a star master, want to kill her? Su Xing felt this was a joke. This lady is an assassin. Assassins never needed contractors, this is a disgrace. I definitely will wash away elder sister's disgrace. When Mu Duang spoke of her assassin's status, she appeared rather proud, and her chest that had been bound tightly jutted out. Admirable. Su Xing smiled. He did not know whether he should be happy or sad there was an assassin star general in the star duels with this understanding. Mu Duang said, I shall not chat with you further. This lady cannot stay in Evil Smiting Hall for too long now that she has obtained a star beast. What star beast do you want to find? Quickly speak. Su Xing did not speak idle chatter, however. Tang Lianxin's star beast honestly was hard to find. The solitary star was not that good at finding things compared to the thief star. These past few days had been fruitless, and relying on the clue Wuxia, they were completely lost. Gold, jade and red everywhere. Do you know which place in Evil Smiting Hall has this? Gold, jade and red everywhere. Mu Duang sunk into long contemplation, and then she struck her palm. This lady remembers where she has seen it before. Really? Su Xing was stunned. Yes. However, it is somewhat far and we will need to fly. Wu, no matter how good this in-room Black Panther is, it cannot fly at all. Mu Duang coyly said. Seeing the grand assassin so girly, the gold coin-spotted leopard Tang Lianxin was speechless. Just get on the flying sword. Su Xing was very familiar with this, for not that long ago, he and Shi Yuan took care of the damaged star white stripe in the waves. He did not expect he would have to take care of the guardian star assassin so quickly. Seeing Su Xing open his chest wide open, Mu Duang was not like the white stripe in the waves who was so willing to have sex. You want to have this lady stick to you? This lady wants to stand behind you. Su Xing said. Beauty, what are you kidding? What idiot would let an assassin stand behind him? Mu Duang thought for a moment and agreed, but to have her lean against a man's chest, there was no need to raise any more awkwardness. What Mu Duang most hated was to touch a repulsive man. Quickly, in a moment, you won't have enough time. Su Xing impatiently prompted. Mu Duang steeled herself. Her heart said, today, this lady will treat it as entering a pig's den. If Su Xing heard such thoughts, he definitely would have kicked her off less than halfway through. You are not allowed to take advantage of this lady. Mu Duang's words were righteous. Take advantage of you, my ass. Su Xing truly was somewhat impatient, grabbing her and pulling her on. The girl cried out, you rogue. And the in-room Black Panther bared its fangs in threat. Tang Lianxin was silent as she watched this. Lianxin, do you want to say something? Su Xing inquisitively asked. Tang Lianxin shook her head. Elder brother, we had better go find it as soon as possible. We have delayed for too long a time. And exactly. Su Xing nodded. Evil Smiting Hall has 3 months, and it has only been several days. Humph, this lady ought to be the first to have captured a star beast. Wahahaha, you need to be gentler. Gentler. This is still my first time. When Mu Duang saw Su Xing did not take advantage of her, she vigorously spoke. Su Xing thought, how can there be such a lively assassin? If he were to sign a contract with her, wasn't that courting death? Su Xing ascended the flying sword, skyrocketing. Mu Duang's complacency was immediately replaced by a screech. Tang Lianxin silently leaned against Su Xing's back, making him nearly overlook her. The contrast between the two girls was considerably distinct. Oh, so good. Doing this for the first time turned out to be so pleasurable. If this lady knew earlier, she would also have sought out a man. Slower. Let this lady enjoy it for a bit. How are you so ungentle? Truly, I do not know what that elder sister or little sister sees in you. And an HH. Su Xing felt he had truly made a gargantuan mistake allowing the little restrained in front of him onto the sword. The little restrained before his eyes should have been called unrestrained. To speak of it, her mouth was truly unrestrained, incoherently speaking in excitement. Those who knew would believe this was happiness that grew from the bottom of her heart from soaring through the skies on a flying sword for the first time. Those who did not know would believe a lifelong spinster had encountered a rapist. I say, beauty, can you not shout so ambiguously? Even if you were to shout this ambiguously, can you not make your tone this charming? All right then, even if you were so charming, then can your body not be so obscene? Su Xing had not yet touched her. Yet he felt somewhat uneasy all over. This Mu Duang shouted when she wanted. Even writhed about. Did this little girl not realize that the place that tight but rubbed against was becoming harder and harder? You rogue, you shameless, you lecher. Mu Duang cursed. Su Xing scratched his ear. Rogue, shameless lecher. Much better than her random shouts in heat just now. Flying for a moment, Mu Duang truly was willing to stay like this for a time. Then, she was regretful about the in-room Black Panther, and wanted to go grab a star beast that could fly. And then she chatted up Su Xing again. Su Xing truly did not expect a star general, who was even an assassin would say be so talkative. Where is that gold, jade and red everywhere? Don't hold us up. Su Xing reminded. Mu Duang went and directed her gaze below to search. Go around that mountain, and you will be able to see it. Su Xing increased his speed, rounding the mountain, he saw an extensive golden light spread across the ground. In the night, at first glance of the dazzling light, it looked like a dark red from afar. Gold, jade and red everywhere. What Wu Xinjie spoke of was this. Su Xing added speed to the flying sword and descended. This place is all gold, jade and red stone. Tang Lianxin looked at this enormous plain, and was astonished it was a natural mine. Every sort of uncovered stone emitted a golden color, red with light rays. The gold and red intertwined, appearing very fantastic. Can these gold and red stones be used to forge star weapons? Su Xing asked. Impossible. One of these can be sold for several liang. Tang Lianxin replied. When he heard, he was somewhat regretful, and Su Xing lost his interest. To sell one piece for several hundred liang of gold. This place probably had several dozen tons, but the quantity was too much. Excavating all of this would be exceptionally wasteful of time. And Su Xing did not have this sort of time at all. Duang, what star beasts did you see in this place? Su Xing asked Mu Duang. Did not notice. This lady was catching the Room Black Panther. Mu Duang said. Let's take a look first. Su Xing pondered, and he could only do this. Right, you still have not told this lady what your name is? Mu Duang asked. Su Xing. Tang Lianxin. Su Xing Tang Lianxin, Mu Duang said doubtfully. You two are very embarrassing, to unexpectedly have taken names like this. Su Xing. Tang Lianxin. Surname Tang Tang. Mu Duang racked her brains. This lady seems to remember there was a surname Tang among the sisters? Who was it? Are you Lin Chong? Mu Duang asked. You just said Lin Chong, obviously that is surname Lin. You're quite dumb. Su Xing ruthlessly criticized her. Tang Lianxin could not help but smile. Yet she immediately recovered her calm afterwards. Solitary star Tanglong. Oh, Tanglong, the solitary star. Mu Duang nodded her head in agreement. Su Xing felt she completely did not recall who that was. What rank? Mu Duang asked as expected. 88. Tang Lianxin very patiently answered. Mu Duang put her hands on her hips and laughed. Ha 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 ha, so you are a little sister, ha 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 ha. This lady has finally encountered a little sister. You don't remember even this? Su Xing sympathized with whichever star master was about to die contracted to her. Little restrained Mu Duang said disgruntled. 107 sisters. How can this lady remember? So long as this lady defeats that one elder sister, this is fine. Seeing her speak so confidently, Su Xing did not know whether to laugh or cry. Walking around the grounds of the gold and jade, Mu Duang was somewhat bored. She yawned and let out the Room Black Panther. Suddenly, little restrained Mu Duang's eyes shone, and her whole body recovered its vigor. She shouted in amazement. That butterfly is so pretty. This lady wants to catch it for her collection. Following her line of sight, several hundred meters ahead was an odd butterfly fluttering about. To say it was odd was because this butterfly was the size of an adult person. Its wings like belts of light, piece by piece, with wing marks showing. It clearly was considerably bright, and its center was a warm scarlet color with its surroundings a divine gold light. That light burned like a fire. All the while it was flying, it was extremely fantastical. Great Sun Essence Flame Butterfly. 3 Tang Lianxin spoke these 5 words. It is little sister Tang Lianxin's star beast? Mu Duang was somewhat regretful. Tang Lianxin nodded, for this was exactly the star beast the solitary star was searching for. This lady shall go capture her. Mu Duang hefted the Frost Moon Ruinous Light Double Saber, and was about to advance. Su Xing grabbed her. Don't go first. Why? Is that Great Sun Essence Flame Butterfly, or whatever not little sister Tang Lianxin's star beast? Mu Duang was confused. Don't startle the butterfly. Let's hide first. Su Xing said. Mu Duang shrugged her shoulders. As far as she was concerned, hiding was very easy. Her silhouette immediately hid into the night, completely invisible. Su Xing basically could not see her. Fearing she would go startle that butterfly, Su Xing grabbed at empty air, thinking of grabbing onto her hand. Suddenly, he felt a soft thing that jutted out. You rogue, you shameless, you lecher. Her invisibility broke, and Mu Duang's dumbstruck appearance appeared before Su Xing. Su Xing. Mu Duang. You rogue, you lecher, you shameless. Mu Duang raised her double saber and was about to slash. Just at this moment, the great sun essence flame butterfly made a noise. A golden flame rolled about, covering the sky and earth. The originally swaying great sun essence flame butterfly cried. That golden flame of its whole body immediately swelled towards them, covering everything. When Su Xing, Tang Lianxin and Mu Duang saw the incoming blaze of torrential power, they each retreated a step. Su Xing called forth Langia, and the sword lights shot towards the fire, but then another golden light suppressed them. The great sun essence flame butterfly was the supreme star beast for tool refinement masters and the like. Naturally possessing the sun's essence flame, that was how it got its name. It could allow a tool refinement master's forging to become like a tiger that had grown wings. And the flames it used were even more powerful. Su Xing saw that the Langia had been suppressed and did not hesitate at all to launch a purple mansion immortal thunder, but all of it was dissolved by the fire. It was obvious how valiant the essence flame this star beast emitted was. Annoying. Mu Duang's figure was vaguely gone and was just about to attack, but she was inside the great sun essence flame. The girl's invisibility completely lost its usefulness. That swathe of bright fire made her incapable of vanishing, which made her at an even greater loss of what to do. This star beast is too powerful. Little restrained had been forced back. She inherently was an assassin, still capable of sneak attacks, but a direct confrontation was honestly not something she was good at in any way. She somewhat innocently looked at Su Xing. Those twinkling eyes seemed to say, "Maybe look for something else? Go attract its flame, I will handle it." Su Xing shouted. Mu Duang twitched her lips. How can one star master handle it alone? With this train of thought, Mu Duang was better off ordering the Room Black Panther to go kill the great sun essence flame butterfly. She herself had pushed her assassination arts to the limit, her figure leaving behind several phantoms. Tang Lianxin at this time called forth her 4-star Great Void Golden Lotus. The Great Void Golden Lotus transformed into millions of unstoppable threads that went to block this flame. Su Xing leaned forward and dashed, a movement dazzling to the eyes which felt pretty good. In several breaths' time, along with the arrival of the two girls' protection already before the great sun essence flame butterfly, he looked at the dreamy and blazing butterfly in front of him, and Su Xing's face wore slight amazement. This star beast truly was gorgeous. The great sun essence flame butterfly raised its wings. Those wings seemingly became a beast's sharp claws, upon which a terrifying flame was worn that wanted to stop Su Xing. However, its nightmare had already begun. Under the gaze of the girls who spectated as if they were watching a movie whilst eating popcorn, Su Xing was fast as lightning. One step directly kicked onto those front claws of the great sun essence flame butterfly. The great sun essence flame butterfly was too late to fully use its illusion. Along with a ripping sound of breaking space, the entire blaze suddenly pounced, a glaring blaze suddenly spraying out, as if it was madly bubbling fountain of blood. The great sun essence flame butterfly cried, playing a sad melody. An enormous pillar of flame suddenly sprayed out of its body, bringing a temperature higher by 1,000-fold. It engulfed a range of several meters in front of it, the high temperatures making the air give rise to distortions. Everything in the surroundings became unreal. It would not burn to ash, would it? When Mu Duang saw such a situation, she continuously retreated. The flames were increasingly fierce, practically blocking their line of sight. Little restrained Mu Duang could not see clearly the situation within, only feeling that little sister solitary star Tanglong's star master was truly very unreliable. As a star master, he would unexpectedly stake everything alongside his star general, which was truly too messy. Turning her head to look at Tang Lianxin, she found that she was abnormally indifferent. Could he have a trick? Just as she thought this, a figure leapt out high, leaving Mu Duang stupefied. This guy's martial force was a bit abnormal. Su Xing had already leapt up high, for he had no real interest in challenging flames like this that could melt steel. His body flipped in midair, and when he descended, he already pointed his fingertip. His whole body was enveloped in a barrier of purple qi, heavily smashing the butterfly that was stupidly spouting fire. Pooh! Su Xing's knee was like a drilling machine, accurately hitting the butterfly's wing. An enormous power immediately was deflated together along with those wings spraying fire. The blaze abruptly stopped, unexpectedly spraying in the other directions all at the same time. The great sun essence flame butterfly's fire wildly swelled. Su Xing cursed, and that flame immediately swallowed him. A powerful essence fire burned the gold, jade, and red stone mine. The Room Black Panther had been scorched into yelping, so the power was apparent. Su Xing fell out safe and sound. This butterfly seems to be a bit not too well. Su Xing wrinkled his brow, feeling that the great sun essence flame butterfly was apparently injured. A rogue shameless pervert! Mu Duang screamed. Su Xing then discovered that all of his clothes had been burned clean away. Even he blushed and hastily changed into new clothes. The great sun essence flame butterfly seems to have previously been infuriated by someone. Tang Lianqin showed slight unrest. After all, it was her star beast. Seeing it like this, her heart felt uncomfortable. But at this time, the great sun essence flame butterfly completely erupted. Its whole body folded and then extended its wings. Astonishingly, it became a human-like light figure, still with several thread-like rays of light wings on its back. This star beast is so cute. Mu Duang's eyes were fastened on it. She laughed. It is time for this lady to display her skill. Su Xing was too late to stop her. All of a sudden, the girl's figure warped, and she rushed over. Her shadow under the great sun essence flame was very dazzling. Su Xing was helpless, only able to call forth Langia to help open a path for her. Even if Su Xing's martial force was not bad, he did not have those excellent star weapons that star generals had, and was completely helpless. Mu Duang did not hesitate to adopt a straight charge through the center style. Her speed was quick beyond reason, and her silhouette instantly became a shining line, and his shadowy vagueness shot together towards the great sun essence flame butterfly's chest. But just when the attack was on the verge of bursting out, it nevertheless was abruptly extinguished. A nearly transparent barrier of flame blocked head-on this keen assassination move. The great sun essence flame butterfly's wings transformed into a frightening tentacle-shaped red flame, ablaze like light. Every inch of its surface burned like a blade's edge, sharp beyond compare. Under the glint of the sparks scattered everywhere, this pair of lights that shot out and dazzled the eyes wrapped life and death. The great sun essence flame butterfly's wings extended, releasing a seemingly otherworldly sound. The enormous light rays directly forced the group back continuously. Mu Duang raised her double sabers, the smile on the corner of her mouth excited and cute. Her toes lightly stepped, gracefully stepping along air. From far away, it seemed as if she was standing still. In actuality, she was floating several inches in the air above the ground. Despite there only being just a bit of distance, their speed in battling nevertheless would give rise to a qualitative leap for this reason. Seeing the cold light of her double sabers flit by, her body techniques were like a demon. Astonishingly, she used her dark rank assassination, flickering light passing shadows. The great sun essence flame butterfly's wings shook, and several million flame blades simultaneously waved, like that ancient and unending rainstorm. The stretching rays of light and blaze on its two wings brought burst upon burst of rain like golden light, but Mu Duang's flickering light passing shadows nevertheless was sharply breaking through. The layers of flame blades were treated as nothing. The demon-like figure freely maneuvered among the layers of attacks, and the tips of the double sabers drew arc after arc of brilliant light. The frost moon ruinous light brought a prick of cold light, accurate beyond compare as it passed through the gaps between the countless blades. The transparent flame wings instantly whirled, and the great sun essence flame butterfly was forced to break away from the engagement distance, flapping its wings to soar. The blaze sprinkled like blood. Hey, how can I fight if you run into the sky? Mu Duang was gloomy. The great sun essence flame butterfly loosed an odd hiss. Its wings wrapped together, and the rays of light were even more glaring. Elder sister, run quickly. Tang Lianqin hastily shouted. Mu Duang blinked. Bloom. Great sun essence flame butterfly suddenly fell like a meteor. Its speed flashed by. The earth violently quaked. A great sun essence flame like waves rolled over. In a range of more than a dozen li, the night was a brilliance like a bonfire. By the time everything stopped, Mu Duang was stunned to discover she had been tackled to the ground by Su Xing. Her stomach squeezed to somewhat stifling. "You're an assassin, don't be reckless." Mu Duang twitched her lips somewhat in grievance. Obviously, she was the one supposed to be helping them obtain the star beast. But still thanks. Su Xing smiled. "Umph." At this time, they heard a bone-chilling whine. Mu Duang climbed up and saw that Tang Lianxin was currently both her palms outwards. More than 100 golden lotuses congregated around the great sun essence flame butterfly, interweaving with each other into a golden net. The 4-star Great Void Golden Lotus was also considerably fierce. In addition, having just been attacked by Su Xing and Mu Duang, the current Great Sun Essence Flame Butterfly was exhausted, but its flames endlessly pounced towards Tang Lianxin. A radiance suddenly burst forth between Tang Lianxin's hands. At this very moment, the Great Void Golden Lotus lights concentrated between the solitary star's palms was increasingly dazzling. The brilliant golden flames in her hands quickly spread in every direction, trickling past the girl's arms like rivers, also extending a pair of transparent wings that stirred up warm ripples. Finally, it condensed into burning golden lotus armor. She practically was like a Valkyrie descended. Su Xing's eyes were fixed on Tang Lianxin's figure, his expression incapable of suppression, and became taut. His pupils were contracted more than just a moment before. He knew that Tang Lianxin wanted to capture the Great Sun Essence Flame Butterfly by herself, and was unavoidably somewhat worried. The next instant, several dozen rays of gorgeous flame blades shot out from the Great Sun Essence Flame Butterfly's wings, turning the mine into an ocean of destruction wrought by light. Her body was enveloped in a barrier, and Tang Lianxin's small change in clothes did not have any damage. A storm-like torrent of fire surrounded her. Tang Lianxin also shouted at the same time, dispersing the Great Void Golden Lotus around the Great Sun Essence Flame Butterfly to immediately capture it. The radiance was beginning to dim. When Tang Lianxin saw, she knew that the Great Sun Essence Flame Butterfly's drive was already reduced. Just as she was about to use the evil smiting writ to capture it, just at this moment, all of a sudden she heard a thunderclap. A lightning bolt struck at Tang Lianxin, and Su Xing blocked in front of her when he saw it. Several sharp light rays shot down once more. These struck upon the Great Void Golden Lotus net. The 4-star Great Void Golden Lotus unexpectedly completely shattered, becoming lotus seeds. Upon breaking free of the Great Void Golden Lotus net, the Great Sun Essence Flame Butterfly immediately raised its wings and fled. Su Xing was about to chase when he saw that, but those lightning bolts continuously crashed. Atop a cliff face, Su Xing spotted the sneak attacker. She was an ice-cold girl with a stone-like expression. The girl wore white armor with refined long clothes, with every sort of jade ornament. She was extremely gorgeous. In one hand, she held a translucent hammer, and in her other she clutched a nail. Every time she struck, it would always shoot out lightning bolts, flame, swordlight, and every other sort of terrifying power. That star General 5-star? And he saw that star weapon had 5 stars circulating around like fairies on the jade hammer. HM. Unexpectedly thinking of stealing your servant's star beast. Truly you are very brazen. Allow your servant to send you off on a journey. The girl icily said. Liked it. Five-star weapon. Let alone Su Xing. Even the Tang Lianxin, who never had a false countenance, showed astonishment. Due to the hammer and nail that the white jade armor girl held in her hands being entirely carved from white jade, they were translucent as ice, beautifully designed, colorful and fluorescent. Due to the distance being too great and the night so dark, Su Xing could not clearly see just what the weapon was, but he could tell she was not a heavenly star. Otherwise, at the current stage, let alone a 5-star destined weapon, a 4-star was already powerful enough. The girl stood on the cliff, considerably fierce. Hearing her words, it seemed as if Su Xing was stealing her star beast. Unexpectedly injuring my Qiangyu's star beast, watch my wind thunder lightning flash. To the girl shouted. The hammer beat the nail, shaking the mountain and producing a roll of thunder. A hammer and nail and a flash of lightning crashed down. Fortunately, she was not a magic energy star general. The lightning looked powerful, but it was unlikely to be lethal. Nevertheless, Su Xing's group and the Great Sun Essence Flame Butterfly were obstructed. Su Xing flipped his hand, turning out the birth treasure outline. He actually wanted to see what her background was to have unexpectedly gotten her star weapon to a state as exaggerated as 5-star. While Su Xing probed, Tang Lianxin immediately went to chase the Great Sun Essence Flame Butterfly. The several hundred Great Void Lotus became countless golden needles that attacked the young girl in white jade armor. A line of golden characters hovered on the birth treasure outline. And seeing the girl's background, Su Xing was suddenly shaken. Star position: Skillful Star 3-star name, Jin Deijian nickname, Jade Armed Craftsman true name, Jin Qiongyu 5 rank, 66-star weapon, Dragon Carving Hammer, Phoenix Engraving Nail 6, 5-star, Star Beast. Rank Realm, 10,000 Techniques 5th stage innate talent. Jade Carving 7 5 elements, Metal Yellow rank special move. As Quick as Lightning, 8 dark rank special move, Wine Thunder Lightning Pull 2 current status. No contractor can be conquered. Detailed materials. The Skillful Star. Su Xing raised his head to look at the girl, full of disbelief. She was the Skillful Star Jade Armed Craftsman? Tang Lianxin was also stunned, her hands stopping their waving motion, her expression uncertain. Su Xing even hesitated for the moment. Wu Xinjia had once mentioned the Jade Armed Craftsman's famous name. Although in past star duels she was a silent and obscure character, without a star cultivator ever willing to sign a contract with her, she nevertheless possessed a critical role. In the future, star weapons were of the utmost importance in the star duels, but heavenly stars generally found it difficult to advance upon upgrading to 7-star because the stones to be found later were honestly too many. This was not something a star general, or even a sect, could bear. And the Jade-Armed Craftsman was Liangshan Continent's brilliant and famous jade refinement master. Not only could she extract the precious stone from raw materials, she even possessed the ability to turn stone into cold and carve stone into jade. For a normal star cultivator alone to contract the Jade-Armed Craftsman, no matter how powerful their jade refinement abilities, it would be useless. However, Su Xing was not normal. He had 7-star maidens. If he could obtain the Jade-Armed Craftsman, he would practically be a tiger that had grown wings. He absolutely could not miss such a sister. When he found out that the girl that had come to fight for the Great Sun Essence Flame Butterfly was unexpectedly that skillful star they had yearned for day and night, Su Xing was at first hesitant. Tang Lianxin was fully aware the elder sister before them was very vital. The Great Void Golden Lotus suddenly retreated. Although the Jade-Armed Craftsman's star weapon was unbelievably 5-star, she inherently lacked martial force, and her star weapon was no threat at all. No matter what, she basically was incapable of handling Su Xing. Now seeing that Su Xing and Tang Lianxin hesitated, she thought they feared her 5-star destined weapon. She leapt without the slightest hesitation, going to grab the Great Sun Essence Flame Butterfly. Su Xing looked helplessly at her about to capture the Great Sun Essence Flame Butterfly. He momentarily looked at Tang Lianxin, incomparably complicated. Tang Lianxin slightly exhaled and shook her head. Clearly, she wanted to give up on the Great Sun Essence Flame Butterfly. If they wanted to have Jin Deijian follow them, they had to make an exchange. Then they had no choice but to yield this star beast, and Su Xing's heart truly was sullen. As they thought this, how could that assassin beside them have such considerations? Seeing this girl about to snatch it, how could Mu Duang let her wish be fulfilled? Having agreed to help Su Xing obtain a star beast, she naturally would complete her promise. Her silhouette flashed, blocking Jin Qiongyu. Bang bang bang, Jin Qiongyu struck the hammer and nail. The 5-star fairies circulating about the dragon carving and phoenix engraving hammer and nail seemed to come alive, the as quick as lightning attacking Mu Duang. Mu Duang raised Frost Moon Ruinous Light, being struck back several dozen meters. No matter what she did directly, she basically could not block Jin Deijian's star weapon. Su Xing, what are you doing staring? Mu Duang shouted. The Room Black Panther rushed, raising its paw, striking back the Jin Daejian. When Su Xing saw, he scuttled in several steps between the people. The 12 Lengya arranged into a line to block, a ray of green light dispersing in torrents. Wait, I don't want to be enemies with you. Su Xing's voice sunk. Lengya was like a fierce beast's fangs bared at skillful star Jin Xiongyu. Mu Duang also stopped her attack, at a loss, and was confused. And Tang Lianxin also agreed, completely retracting the Great Void Golden Lotus, only making them trap the Great Sun Essence Flame Butterfly. Jin Xiongyu knew that although she was at 10,000 Techniques 5th stage, only her star weapons promotion was upgraded. In martial force and magic energy, as well as other aspects, she completely was not their opponent. Calming her face, she coldly said, "Then just leave. Do not hinder your servant going to capture the star beast." Su Xing wrinkled his brow. He could take the girl's tone being overbearing, but her attitude honestly made him annoyed. To think of it, he was at ease when he recalled he had first tried to take her star beast. You also are capturing the Great Sun Essence Flame Butterfly? The Great Void Golden Lotus. So it turned out to be Tang Lianxin. Humph, unexpectedly signing a contract. Did you find a man to come help you? Jin Qiongyu sneered. Just what are you thinking of doing? Do you want to ascend Maiden Mountain, to end these 1,000-year star duels? Su Xing asked. What? Not only Jin Qiongyu, even Mu Duang was stunned. End the 1,000-year star duels? What do you wish to say? Jin Qiongyu cautiously said. Sign a contract with me. Let's go to Maiden Mountain together. Su Xing got right to the point, not thinking of beating about the bush for a favorable impression one bit. Aha. Jin Qiongyu laughed aloud, for she had heard a very good joke. You are merely galaxy middle stage, and you have contracted the incompetent solitary star. You truly are quite arrogant to go to Maiden Mountain. Hearing her assess Tang Lianxin as incompetent, Su Xing's expression sunk and was about to sour. And if there are also other elder sisters? Tang Lianxin immediately stepped forward. The girl surreptitiously shook her head at Su Xing. She did not care at all for some evaluation. On the contrary, she knew the importance of the jade-armed craftsman for Su Xing. Other sisters? Jin Qiongyu icily looked at Tang Lianxin. 10 fingers pull springtime shoots tenderly, white delicate appearance and very lively. People first wish to display full power modestly. Cloud clothes rainbow sleeves exposed slightly. The best is a spring night heavenly, yellow hall rolls stopped quiet beauty. Mundane heart lacks regard and helplessly worry. Try pinching the sprig and sniff frequently. 10 In an inscrutable twist of fate, there suddenly came a pure song, naturally descending from the clouds, attracting everyone's attention. Su Xing followed the voice and looked, and he was immediately stunned endlessly. He saw a picturesque beauty walk over, full of elegance. She wore a snow-white, blue and white embroidered long skirt. The skirt's edges had dragged along the ground like piled snow. Seeing her wind bun and misty temples, black hair like a waterfall, a slanted jade hairpin stuck within, and a sash with inlaid silver. She blossomed, a countenance like that of a flower, a face like the moon. Her skin was wonderful, her young bones shapely, as if she was graceful and shapely. However beautiful she appeared, there was a poem that could describe her. Elegant and supple waves pass on by, fragrant threads brush hearts and hands away. Attract attention with allure quiet and icy. Only pity quiet dreams white as poetry. 11 She was entirely stunning, hard to copy in every single way. Su Xing originally thought he had a powerful immunity to beauties, but upon seeing the girl, he had a sort of feeling that startled man and heaven. That beautiful woman smiled, a breeze across her whole face. Su Xing seemingly felt he had seen her before somewhere, but he nevertheless could not forget such a smile if he had seen it before. At this moment, there was another girl follow beside her, one that was tall in stature with a baleful arrogance. Her hands clenched 2 clumps of gloom, her eyes completely lacking emotion, as if she was a puppet, but occasionally there were rays of cruel light that flit by that demonstrated this girl's innermost desire to kill. Black Whirlwind Li Long Kue? Su Xing was stunned. He glanced at the birth treasure outline, and then a line of data appeared. Star position, killer star 12 star name, Li Kuei 13 nickname, Black Whirlwind 14 true name, Li Long Kuei rank, 22nd star weapon, bereaved immortal lofty slaughter 16 2-star, star beast. Rank, realm, 10,000 techniques 4th stage innate skill. Loss of pain perception 17 5 elements. Wood yellow rank special move, Little Demon Slaying, 18 dark rank technique. Wild Dance of Demons and Gods 19 current status. Uprising 20, cannot be conquered, detailed materials. Uprising Su Xing wrinkled his brow. This was actually the first time he had seen this sort of status, but looking at that unmatched and magnificent beauty, Su Xing immediately recalled who she was, Qingxi, whom he once encountered in the Vermilion Bird territory. When Su Xing looked to Qingxi, he was again astonished. Qingxi's delicate hands unfolded, and an identical treasure book appeared in her hand. Qingxi looked at Su Xing, those charming pupils somewhat profound. Due to Su Xing using the change appearance pill, she did not recognize Su Xing, the jade-armed craftsman and the gold coin-spotted leopard. Truly, your servant did not expect she could encounter the best tool refinement master and jade refinement master of the 108-star generals here at the same time. Qingxi smiled, her voice gentle. Pity that little sister Tanglong has signed a contract. This makes your servant somewhat regretful. I can't be seeing things, unexpectedly seeing 2 birth treasure outlines. Mu Duang was dumbstruck. Yes, truly very coincidental. Evil Smiting Hall is so large, and not only could we encounter someone, we even encountered someone else also holding the birth treasure outline. Su Xing nodded. Seeing Qingxi, he nevertheless did not dare to be unbridled, particularly the Li Longkui beside Qingxi. Against this terrible and scathing fiend star, they completely were not opponents. Your servant heard young lord's words just now. Young lord and the other star cultivators alike are all cunning. Obviously, you have already contracted your limit. Yet you wish to have the jade-armed craftsman follow you with a deluge of flowers. When the time comes, will you not exploit her? Qingxi slightly smiled. How could I do this sort of thing? Of course I am prepared to sign a contract that I would speak like this. Su Xing calmly said. Does young lord truly have the confidence to contract little sister? And what are you thinking of? Su Xing said. Little sister skillful star. Do you agree to this man's proposition? Qingxi did not answer, and asked a question in turn to Jin Xiongyu. Jin Xiongyu had the mind to retreat after seeing the situation before her, but seeing the great sun essence flame butterfly so close in front of her, she was unwilling. You star masters are truly boring. If you can sign a contract, why wouldn't your servant agree? Jin Xiongyu searched for a plan, thinking of first using Su Xing to fight that Qingxi in a battle between 2 tigers. 21. Then take the chance to snatch the star beast. Jin Xiongyu's thoughts, how could the two have known? Qingxi slightly smiled. She extended her white hand in invitation. Your servant also wishes to sign a contract to ascend Maiden Mountain together. Little sister must be willing to follow your servant. That you're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.